minutes were very well done.
Huh?
Yeah, I thought you did good.
They were good except for that one spot.
Well, did you get what I and everything's okay? Well, like, on 22, and that was.
I'm gonna use
that
this
was-
tonight probably.
It is much shorter. So, the top section and the
Whole section.
middle, the ones that I numbered out, and then the 25708, the BCBA, and 250, the 087.
All I know is I thought I said.
You're live.
And that's what it was. Yeah.
Whole bunch of myself.
Yeah, and then there was stipulation, and then.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna get on for any of that. I don't. You're my neighbor.
Well, welcome everyone to our Morgan County Commission meeting work session at 4 p.m. December 16th. Appreciate everybody being here, and those that are online, welcome as well.
Is it your birthday?
Merry Christmas,
I can look up that.
and it's been a wonderful, wonderful year, hopefully for everyone in our county. Well, we're going to turn the time over to our Kate,
Whatever she is,
County Administrator,
too hard.
let her handle her triage of
Hold on,
projects.
I can't even see that small of a font, and I of course don't bring my glasses. Let's zoom, shall we? Okay. Are there any of these specifically you want me to pull out and discuss, or do you want to just go from the top down? Because these are in no particular order.
Just made me exhausted. I'm like, wow.
And I missed some. Because there's new ones every day.
Yeah, it was quite a list, for sure.
Nothing particular you want me to pull out, just go through them.
Yep.
Okay, so we are still working on activating the Fair Venmo account. The problem with that is our Fair, when it got linked up to the Fair's email and the Fair director's, which is the county's phone number, and that's been really difficult to get that coordinated to get the final step to approve the PayPal account. Once the PayPal account is set up, then the Venmo is live. But obviously, we've been working on this since May? So would really like it to be live by the end of July of 2026. So that is still in process, is not active.
We do have a meeting tomorrow, or sorry, Thursday.
Yeah.
If you want us to assist with anything, or if you want to
Okay.
step in, then just let us know what you need.
The cattle grazing contract. So Adam Toon was awarded the cattle grazing contract for the fairgrounds. However, the agreement that was written up and detailed with the attorney's office with help of Commissioner Fackrell did not match the RFP that was put out. And so Adam didn't sign it, but we'd already cashed his check. So we need to make a decision in 2026 on
In what way?
a lot. I'm gonna let Garrett speak to that because I didn't go through that review.
So
Maybe that's a Janet.
it is a Janet. I can do my best though. From what I recall, there were some changes to, or just some additions about moving cattle off for certain events and certain notice that was given that wasn't in the original. And he was talking about the cost to do that. And it was just unanticipated. And he said, well, I might have bid differently had I known that that was part of the agreement. I think for the county, we want to make sure that the fair and the cardboard regatta, some of those things, we have the ability to have them moved. And if we put it out for RFP with those terms already in place or the contract already in place, then everyone can bid on what they think they could do having to move. Because in his mind, when he came in, he said, I didn't know I was going to have to move these multiple times. And there's a cost that's associated with that. So that's the main thing that sticks out in my mind. But there may be others as well.
So how did we end up handling that?
So as far as
We had
this
already
year,
cashed this check, so we let this year go. But the original RFP was for multiple years.
I think it was for 3 years.
So
3 years on a yearly basis.
if we need to, which there's no contract signed. So if we need to repost with the new language, or if we need to have the commission agree to the current contract language, and obviously we can,
But he would want to
review
be,
both.
he would want to pay less under the new agreement. And so that's really what it is. Do we negotiate under the new agreement, or do we repost it with the agreement attached saying these are the terms that you're agreeing to when you put your bid in?
If I remember correctly, there wasn't, between the two bids, there wasn't a huge difference. Did the other person know? I guess not, as neither did. Okay.
I mean, it wasn't, I think we ought to repost it with the
Proper language.
proper language. I mean, we could, like you say, include the contract itself as part of the posting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they
as
know
an
exactly
That these
what
are the
they're-
terms that you'll agree to.
just make some
Then
notes.
at least it resets it, and it's a fair process for anybody. It's too bad.
I think
And
that
they,
was
they can
kind of it,
also,
is-
within that, in my opinion, they can also figure out, they don't have to move the cows or the sheep or anything out. They just need to be able to handle them for that half a day. That's all it is.
That's not, but that wasn't your email to the attorney's office. It was to remove them for an entire week,
Oh, I didn't.
was my understanding. And that's what he was like, that's not,
No, it was only for that 4 hour period of time that the cardboard, regatta's going down the river. That's all it is.
Is it just the regatta, or are there other fair activities that may?
Well, I don't know if there's any other fair activities. That's just the one that we have. And this year, I don't know what's gonna happen with the 250 year either.
I thought we had talked about that week because we thought we might use it, need it for parking, but that might just be my poor memory, but.
I do remember the contract, and one of his big sticking points was that it was 1 week. And he's like, I
But I
already
can
paid.
understand that.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk through that when we review the contract and get ready to post it again.
Okay. Timeline wise, obviously just sometime in the spring. Early spring. I know I have America 250. Thanks. For reposting that and putting that on the agenda. The RFP, okay.
That's for me. I'm speaking for myself.
Oops. I'm sorry, I'm bumping the America 250 up since I have my awesome ladies here to discuss it. Okay, America 250, we've received our swag monies, so I double checked on that. We did budget for the swag monies. The question is, so there's these monthly Zooms that are for America 250. The last thing when we had discussed who was going to be the board for America 250, I thought the conversation was that the Historical Society would take that lift since the two projects are kind of synonymous. And being due diligent and reading the agenda packet, they're like, that's news to us. So where do we want, I guess, what's the disconnect, and what do we need to action so that, do I just need to add them to the America 250 email list so that they're getting the Zooms? 'Cause
If they're
all the
willing to
paperwork
do
and
that, I've been on a
resolutions-
couple of those Zoom calls,
Okay,
and a lot of it's just been different groups talking about what they plan to do in their communities. There hasn't
Okay.
been a whole lot of, so I guess it's ideas as much as anything, which is probably really helpful. I think if the Historical Society / library are willing to take that on, I would love that. I think it would be wonderful. Yeah, absolutely.
as long as you speak in the mic so Jeremy doesn't text me.
This mic is not working.
That's for Austin.
Oh, okay.
So, we would love to be involved, and we think it's appropriate, that it matches the mission of the library and of the Historical Society, and we're hearing a lot from our state agencies and channels about this too. So we'd love to do it. But we have so many questions about how much money was received, what is the county's vision for it, who in the county is in charge of it? Also bearing in mind that the Historical Society plays a major part in planning the Front Street Festival in June, and the library is smack in the middle of summer reading, which is our Super Bowl. I'm afraid to commit
Thanks for the
to
reference.
being able to, the two of us, handle the whole thing. So what is the county's vision and how much support is there?
I think that's probably gonna be a work session sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy to coordinate with you two on your schedule, to get that done, and I can get you all the documents to date. The swag monies that they've allocated, it's not much.
$3,000.
Yeah. It's pretty de minimis.
And it's not just for, I mean, you could use it really for any purpose that has to do with it, so it could be used as some event funding. When we talked about it previously, we had talked about the fact that there are a lot of events already that occur in the county. I don't know that we need to do any extra events. The intent was really to incorporate the America 250 into the already happening events.
That's what Cindy was just
So like the county fair, we've already talked to the fair board about, we want the theme this year to be very patriotic, right? And we do have a logo that says America 250 Morgan County that they've licensed to us, so we can put that on anything we want. I think the intent was, let's put it on things that have to do with the Front Street Festival. Let's put it on stuff that has to do with the 4th of July and work with the chamber on that. Let's put it on fair stuff and just try to incorporate that. The only item that I'm aware of, okay, there's a couple of things. There's a traveling thing that you're aware of.
I am, and I've reached out to the
Yes.
state, but haven't had any response.
Okay, we can follow up on that.
held at the DUP building.
Oh, it is?
But I don't know, that's what's listed. It's a nationwide event going around, and the DUP is listed as the location.
Oh, see,
I think that's a different item,
Than the
because there's a traveling exhibit that they're offering to libraries. So we can check into that and see what
If it's the
what it
same one,
is.
but that's,
Maybe it's-
that's what's
maybe it
listed
is.
on this site.
Okay, so we can check on that. And then the other thing was they have the state is planning in conjunction with the nation. There's supposed to be like a neighborhood picnic potluck thing on the Sunday before
last I heard,
the 4th of July.
the church was kind of potentially.
I think that's how it's going to, so I don't think we have to do really anything with that except maybe some advertising. Which, you know, we've got a lot of channels we can push that out in. We can put it on signs, we can do that kind of thing.
When you say that church, you mean all the churches, all the?
The word,
I specifically mean the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Morgan, Utah, as being maybe the entity, and this is just something I've heard, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the entity that would sort of lead out on getting that organized, because communities are already organized geographically in wards, it makes sense that that's your neighborhood.
The date that's
That's what
listed
I've
on the
heard as well,
Utah
that
site is
the
July
state's planning
5th.
on doing.
oh, the day after.
Oh, it's the day after. I was thinking it was the day, or it's
Yeah.
the week before. Okay, it's the day after.
But, okay, so where we stand right now, Mike, are you pretty much the committee?
Committee of one.
Okay.
I've
there's one
gathered
more thing.
information. I don't know that I'm a committee.
Are we or have we included the school district?
Yes, the school district, I think we could include in that too.
Well,
I don't
you've
know what
also
they've
got-
planned.
You've got the chamber. that has
Yeah,
been
the
trying to
chamber,
figure
I
what's
mentioned the
going on,
chamber
so they
earlier.
know what to do for the 4th of July celebration. So those entities, I think we need to get a committee of all these entities, get them together, either in a work session or in a group setting, so they can discuss all these things and, okay, let's find a person that's gonna take charge.
So is the city involved at all then?
Should be.
They, I believe, could receive some funding. No, maybe it's just counties. I don't know if the city has
don't know
anything.
either.
I have a meeting at the city tonight, I'll ask the mayor.
Yeah, ask them if they know anything about it.
So it sounds like.
Yes, I mean, maybe we identify all the stakeholders and then we could call for them to come sit down and at least talk about it. I don't know that you need to tell them that anybody needs to tell them how to plan anything. I think it's more of a coordination of, hey,
That's
you
right.
guys are already doing this event. How are you planning to incorporate the America 250 and how can we support you in making that happen?
The biggest thing the chamber was curious about is whether or not they were, what they needed to do this year. versus in years past.
There's no requirement from the state that says you have to do this or that. It's simply, we want you to
Build
plan
it up.
things and try to incorporate that it's,
Things that are unique to our community.
Right.
And there aren't any specific requirements for that spend money.
no, we've already received, all we had to do was sign an agreement that said that we intend to use it for those purposes, and part of that agreement also licensed the logo to us, so.
I did send out a Kate Grumpy email shortly after we received the money to remind them that's county commission money, and so people can't just ad hoc use it. It needs to come before the commission and or be budgeted for, and it's not until 2026. Okay, so that work session will be Historical Society, Library, City, School District, Chamber. Anything else?
What other
Oh, maybe
groups?
Fair Director?
Maybe more Gala Days, which is the high school rodeo.
The auto show,
Yeah, the car show representatives should be, are there any other activities that we have that are,
Front Street, that's those guys. Other than that, I don't know.
I mean, potentially if they're gonna do that car show at the airport again, maybe those folks would be,
Airport board?
Yeah, the airport.
was it the airport board that put it on, or was
Oh,
it
no.
just, I mean, we could
Yeah, it was Luke.
at least have a
Lukowski.
representative from the airport board if they're
Got the
interested.
Easter egg hunt, they can be,
Oh, the,
Yeah, so the Alliance Club.
Thank you.
Because they also do the truck pulls.
Yeah, so that could be a big group.
I would suggest that we just ask each of them to send one representative, because if you have 30 people in a room, you'll never get consensus, but.
And I think if you do focus on what we do already.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just need somebody to head out and do this,
yeah.
which is,
So we'll get this on work session as the
Let's chat
next
about
work
it and see
session I have
what we can
open.
figure out.
But while you're here, because we don't get you often, Cindy, your Front Street Festival is like quadrupled in size in the last several years, and we've just been extremely impressed with all the work that you're putting in and the turnout and the quantity of people and the sales that you've had in your facility and you working with the Yellowstone group, like the filming people, like you're doing amazing things, and it is seen, and I just wanted you to know that. Thank you. So, do you have anything else for us? Okay, thanks for squeezing time out for. Okay.
Okay. We'll get something scheduled.
Thank you.
thank you.
We have 2 RFPs that are posted currently, and that is our grant writer and our something attorney.
Public defender, the one that, yeah, represents those that can't afford an attorney.
We
I
were
didn't see any of the applicants. Did we get any?
hardly any at all. So, definitely
Hardly.
one for grant. I haven't seen any for public defender. So I need to do some research on additional sites besides our county site and the state's website that we can post that on, because I'd rather have 20 applicants and weed through them than one applicant. So I'd like to repost those regardless, but we definitely need to find other sites to post those on, and I really don't want to pay to put them in the paper, because I really don't think that's where we're gonna get anyone from. But historically, we post on the state's procurement site and we post on our website, and I just haven't.
We don't have a LinkedIn, county LinkedIn or anything like that, I guess. I don't even have
I don't
social
know
media
how to do
myself.
it.
I'm like,
Don't
Is
ask
that
me.
something that like?
I'm not against it. I just
Casey is.
don't want to add additional
would like
responsibilities to
UAC or
myself.
somebody push that out for us and help us? I mean,
Could
is there
just
a-
post it as a job posting and
Oh.
put it as just put in it's an RFP, and it'll push to LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, all those different sites that we.
Where were you 2 weeks ago? Oh, that's right. You had a baby.
How dare
You
you.
said LinkedIn, Indeed,
Indeed, ZipRecruiter,
ZipRecruiter.
Adsuna.
I don't even know what that is, but like a bunch of those. Okay. And you said UAC. So send those to UAC. Because I mean, we have
Even
different
directly to the law schools.
law schools. They'd already have to have their Juris Doctorate.
Oh, you don't want a JD?
So
Because they're having a hard time finding jobs, just so you know. I'm on the board of the law school and it's slim pickings for jobs right now.
Oh, well.
yeah,
Why not
had
push
some
it out?
we
pretty
would want
creative
someone.
ones.
We would want someone with some
With some
experience, though, because they are representing, all the rights of our defendants, and so we do want someone with some experience. They don't have to have the most experience ever, and I'm kind of trying to stay out of that process because I don't want to. I think it's a conflict if I pick my opponent, so to speak. As a prosecutor, like who do I want to have cases against? But hopefully we find someone who's very qualified, who's willing to, represent the best interests of those that are indigent.
Okay. Okay, because we have different sites we post the RFPs for, like building or higher tech things like the impact fees, but for stuff like this where we're seeking one individual or one vendor, we just haven't had
So
much luck.
I have a question on your animal control RFP.
Yeah,
Okay, so the one that we awarded this year, was that just for?
we didn't
housing?
award it.
I thought we did for Mountain Green.
The county attorney disagreed that I had reposted it. And so we posted it in like February, I want to say. We got right after we found out that the price was increasing. We didn't have any responses to include our current. So then the action from the commission was do a cost analysis on having our own versus contracting. Well, by the time we got the cost analysis back for having our own, the Mountain Green was on board. And so we did an agreement with them for as many months as kept us under the bid cap, knowing that in February we were going to have to repost the RFP because now the local one that we were contracted with wants to bid again. So that is the action item, is that we are reposting that bid. We're sticking with the vet and not with us going and creating our own at the search and rescue storage building. So that's been decided. However, we need to repost for the RFP vet contract, and that'll reposted in February.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, even though you're not on mic. I heard that. Okay. The short-term rental. So this is 1000% my ball drop, and it's not really a ball drop as an intentional. It's been put on my back burner. We were gonna do an every door direct mail for the short-term rental survey. About the time that we had that all set up and ready to go, the 3% public safety sales tax came before the commission, got tabled. The third meeting that it was on, it was determined to do that as a cooperative every door direct mail. So we'd have two surveys going out on the same flyer, because those EDDMs are not cheap. In the process of waiting for the language to be drafted for the survey, which was done about a month and a half ago by the attorney's office, thankfully. Now we're in the process of, I need to get with Jeremy to design that in jot form, and we need to design the every door direct mail itself. In that, do we want two separate QRs, or would we just have one QR and then it automatically starts with STR and then flows into, okay, now here's the 3% sales tax one, so that they are getting both without having to do two different steps, was kind of my thought, is we do a one QR, and we can put two separate surveys up on the website if someone wants to speak directly to that survey. But as far as the EDDM, I think we'll get actually more turnout if we just one QR it. And kind of force them into doing both surveys.
Okay.
So,
Seems smart to me.
That's
Okay.
fine. And that 3% is only 0.03.
okay. it was just my
Yeah,
chicken
I'm
scratch
just-
notes, but yeah. Okay, so, and I'm already, working with the mailing company we used for the general plan survey on printing those. But there was just some final questions that I needed answered, and then I still need Jeremy to design, to convert those into the jot form. And then now on, the other issue was Croydon, I guess, does not get EDDMs. So do we need to hard print X amount of?
We need to have a conversation, I think, with the Postal Service about it. When we did the fair mailers, they told us that they would not mail them to Croydon because it's its own zip code and there weren't enough addresses at that zip code, which makes zero sense to me because they're stopping there anyway, so it doesn't cost the post office more. We're paying for the service anyway, but that's what they told us. So when we did the fair mailer, nobody in Croydon got any of it. But what's weird is there's other times when we've done mailers, either county stuff or you know, like when a politician sends out a mailer or whatever, and we do get them. So I don't know what the deal with that was. I don't know if that's
So the
just
zip is what?
whoever happens to be there at the time or what.
It could be. So it's 84018, right?
84018.
All right.
I don't know if that's
I'm
something.
gonna give a suggestion, and we just go over his head, and we go straight to Salt Lake.
Okay.
And in
Great.
fact, they will do a lot of the stuff for us with an ADDM, unless they've changed it in the last year.
Well, and maybe that's why this company their survey did go to Croydon, is they used a different post office.
And that
That's
could be.
probably
And so I'm gonna request that
wanna
we just
quadruple check that.
bypass this one,
Croydon.
because they are the joke of the post office for the state of Utah. That is the serious honest truth.
and just go to Salt Lake
And just
deal
go
with
to
them.
Salt Lake and talk to them down there.
Okay.
And I could possibly find out the person that you need to talk to if you want.
That would be
Right.
great, I think.
I'll try to do that.
Okay. Playground and equipment inspection. Your recreation director, Lydia, is actually a certified playground and equipment inspector. She is inspecting all of the playground equipment that is county owned. The last thing she's waiting on is there's some type of density scale in the ground that she has to use, and hers is broken. But she was getting a new one as of Tuesday. So that's the last piece of that puzzle. She's gonna do a presentation for the commission, not the first county commission meeting, but maybe the second or third, to go through, like, here's our triage of our playground equipment and where it's at and what's safe, and if anything's not safe, we'll make sure that we tag that. And she's on schedule to do that. So she just updated me on that.
This could possibly fall under the Rural Health Initiative Utah. That the state's getting the 5 million and possibly another 500 million to $1 billion. So we have to be ready for a one-time project to apply for it. This could possibly be.
Oh, for replacing?
project.
Could we do like an exercise park?
Yeah, you could, if
That
you
would
have
be
it all
awesome.
ready
We
to
should
go,
look
we
at doing that
apply.
along that trail.
One-time project type thing.
I just, didn't know that she had that credential, and so I definitely wanted to use it. And, because we talked about moving and or replacing the equipment out that Mountain Green, but then after walking through it, it looks a heck of a lot nicer than a lot of the equipment we have at some other parks. I was like, maybe we should just review all our parks. And so she's working on that now, and we'll have that done by the end of the year. And she is working with Brett on that as well. So, for possible replacement grant and additional equipment.
And I long for the days of the old hot metal slide. and
Right?
merry-go-round that you'd spin until you got sick or thrown off.
With the recycled tire chunks
Yeah.
that you can't do anymore because apparently kids put them in their mouth. It's like, but we put them in our mouth and we turned out fine.
We're just fine.
We're just fine. I have a note to do a presentation on the RDA and CRAs areas that currently exist in the county. I am between building our own presentation or bumming somebody else's that has already existed and then adding our data to it. But because there's no active push to do a RDA or CRA project except for the one at the Mountain Green Town Center, that's why I haven't done it. It's not really high on my priority list. I'll gladly bump it up the priority list if you think it's a priority, but I still maintain that I'm not hurting for people to build or develop in this county, so I'm not really hurting on the need to give them tax increment financing to do it. So it is on my list to do, you know, obviously before the end of my first contract. It's just really low on my list to do, just letting you know. Dirt spot. We are working with UDOT to have the dirt spot transferred to the county. Because it's a recreational use to a recreational use, there's no cost. They will straight just deed it to us. It is currently sitting in the UDOT's land and deed office. It's been there since June. They're expecting March, April before we actually have the paperwork. But in that, the idea is that the Morgan Valley Trails Foundation would love to use that, since they already use the space, as their starting off point for their group rides. That we would do, they'd put like a, yeah, like a little pavilion, itty bitty, but like a little pavilion that we can also use to post like public notices of like, here's our trails, here's our rules for
Like an information.
for biking, and also
Kiosk.
have a water filler at that site as well. So that's in the works, but yeah, they were thinking March, April before we got the deed document. Speaking of deed documents, I wonder if it's on here. It probably is under, is there border war in here?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Okay. Missing packets. So I've gone through the website, on the Morgan County website, for planning commission and county commission meetings. And as we have history on the website, there are missing commission packets, and it's commission packets that say, hey, this is the June 2nd, 2023 packet, but when you click on it, it's like the May 19th one, so it's mislabeled. Gave that project over to the clerk auditor's office, as that's kind of their domain. It was on Katie Lassiter's work list. It just hasn't got done. We do have her position posted, and that will be a project for them, not just those packets. But as we go through the packets that are missing, we also need to identify, because we're missing a lot of agreements. We're pretty solid on ordinances and resolutions, but like agreements, for example, like our agreement with Weaver Morgan Health, or our agreement for our cell phone tower, that we have, our SBA lease. Hunting those down, I have to go through the packets on the website, try to find what meeting it was in, pull it from the web. It's just missing from our new PaperVision site. So I just want to make you aware that that is an issue that we have. It has been identified, and we do have a process to move forward to correct and get those all posted for public record. It is not a small list.
No, it's not. I know one person has a lot of documents that we used in the beginning of when we came on as a commission. Lilia Allen has a bunch, and I don't know if she'll give them up to you or not.
We have the packets, we have the paper, it's just not scanned into, the clerk
All right,
has
I
to
just
keep
wanted to
the
make sure.
permanent
Because she has a bunch,
paper. Yeah, we have them.
including the trails, active transportation program.
Okay, those we don't have.
Yeah, she's got them all.
Okay. Okay. The CEO board, this is more like John Barber's push, and I know he's coming off the board. But the mayor is also kind of on this push as well about looking into a revolving loan fund as part of our grant monies use. And I guess WFRC's ECDev that Commissioner Blocker sits on, they have a format to do that already. We've just never budgeted for that. And being that this last year of our small business grants or growth grants was the first year we finally did that with agreements and contracts where they had to provide receipts, and that took a whole lot of babysitting. It just makes me a little nervous on the follow through on that. So I have a meeting with, oh good grief, is it Stephanie? Is she Davis County? She's their economic development director.
Why's the mayor
It's like-
pushing? What
I don't know.
EC's he trying?
I have no
to push?
idea.
The big thing is, and this is just from my remembrances of what's going on, is John Barber and I had a discussion a few years ago on a revolving fund instead of just giving out a grant. And that way we could actually reuse that money and try to help people with a greater need by giving a loan from that 200,000 that we get.
Okay.
And so this was an idea, and we had talked to the bank, Morgan's Bank, and talked to them about that, and then I was no longer there, and so, you know, it's gone away. But that was one thing that John and I had discussed, and the mayor had discussed that in one of our meetings, is to have that as a possibility. That's all it was a possibility. That way we can actually help some individuals or some businesses to help their businesses go a little bit further, instead of just plain giving them the grant, even though we require them the receipts now and the
And the
contract and
match,
all that kind of
and a
stuff.
portion of
But
match.
we've had a lot of them that just, it hasn't been a, I don't know if it's as healthy as a grant, or it might be more healthy to have a low interest grant versus just plain a grant.
Okay.
And so that was just the thought that we had a few years ago.
So do you want me to flush out, or is there any appetite of because there's only 2 people in the CEO board that have even mentioned it in the last year.
That's because
It's
it was
on my
discussed
list.
a couple of years
Yeah,
ago.
so it's on my list because it's on my radar. But as far as my time and resources, is this something the commission is interested in me flushing out?
Me personally, I'd like to see it happen, but.
To be honest, I've never heard of it before.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's a good idea to look into. We probably ought to make sure that the state won't have an issue with us using that
Other counties do it.
funding. If
It's just-
they can, then great. I think that's.
And they can do it. They've done it in other counties. I'm trying to remember which ones did.
I know Davis
Who
does,
sets that interest rate?
the county.
The county would. Because, I mean, the grant comes from the state, so we have to make sure we follow anything with the
I
grant.
mean, even if you had 0% interest, if you're getting the money back,
That's right.
it's probably better than just the grant, because at least you're receiving it back, and then you can give it to somebody else to use for a time, right? At least you're.
I don't know if it's
This one
zero would
yours?
be good, because then they think of it as a grant. But I mean, we're giving out
Well, they
100
still have to repay. I mean, even if they go out of business, though, I suppose it's no different than if you're just giving them grant money and
and then
they
they go out of business too.
use it or go out of business. You know
Other
what I mean?
than you're giving them a much larger piece.
Could
of
be
it, right?
giving them a much
Well,
larger
I don't
amount.
know. That's the other
That
thing I
depends
guess you
on the
could look
fund.
at is maybe you limit the amount too. So it's not like, I mean, you wouldn't want to give somebody $100,000 loan and then them not repay it. I think that would be,
But I think that we could.
10,000 might make sense and work okay.
Right, and we might want to just search it out. I think we ought
That's
to
what I
really
have.
just search it out and see whether or not it's feasible. If it's feasible, then I'd say if we can get the attorney to agree on it, then maybe we can, or maybe the banks, or whoever we've got to do. In fact, I think we had talked both to Golden West and to Morgan Bank at the time. So Bev may remember some of it over at Golden West that we were talking to her about. She may not. A lot of things have happened in 2 years.
So, do you want to come up, Sean?
Because we send out, I mean, we basically, in this year, I think we have in the budget to give out grants, $125,000, $130,000. I mean, I'd rather us see some of that money, really try to help, not just give them away free money, but just help them to stay in business.
Okay. Fire department. So in the fire department employee handbook, which while I'm thinking about it, FYI, the commission has never passed the approval of that handbook by resolution. So we'll need to get that done. Okay. Because that employee handbook is clearly different than our employee handbook because there's health and physical requirements of being on our fire and ambulatory team as set by your state requirements. In that handbook, it requires access to fitness equipment. Cost effectively, we have talked about giving them like getting a bulk membership to one of the 500 gyms that we have here. However, the community hates seeing that fire truck and that ambulance anywhere but the fire station for some reason. So, but we train people to be ready for calls. We obviously don't want calls. We don't want to have calls, but they're trained to be ready for a call out, which is why when the fire truck goes out or someone goes to, to do a test at my house, thank you for calling me and letting me know, freaked out my neighbors, that we have, everyone is there so that if there's a call out, the whole team's already in the truck. So in that, we cleaned out the basement. By we, I do not mean myself. The basement of the firehouse was cleaned out to make room for fitness equipment so that they could work out and do their physical fitness while they're on standby for a call if they weren't doing their mandatory training. The wish list for this equipment is extensive.
I thought we had some.
Granted, I know who it's coming from. So
We don't have any?
I don't know.
Boyd told me we had some and no one was using it. That's what I understood.
We had some old gym equipment that was donated. It had reached its service life, and that's part of cleaning out the basement. It's all cleaned out. We've prepped the basement for new gym equipment, and we're very limited on space. So when we say the basement, it's 1/3 of the basement that's allocated for the gym space. We had a huge list of equipment. We had them narrow it down. They narrowed down the budget or their equipment to fit our budget line item that we have. We have spent that line item budget for equipment. So we'll have a very limited amount of gym equipment. So we'll have access to physical equipment and training. That allows them to be compliant with our SOPs that we developed. SOPs that was provided to the county attorney. It's all care. So it follows best state practices, federal laws. Be happy to share.
We're just getting in the habit of, like, even our historical society having their bylaws reviewed, approved, etc. Can you pull the mic up closer to your mouth, please? Thank you. Not my nasty ring.
Yeah, I will. I'll be more than happy to share those SOPs with you.
Okay, I just wanted so that we have them,
Yeah.
and we know what we are holding, what standard we're holding people to as well.
And if I understand, these are also the ones I reviewed from, is it Lexipol?
Yes.
So Lexipol is a group that tries to stay up to date with all of the changes in the laws. And so it's standards that a lot of departments are using so that they're not getting behind. And so those are the standards that they're talking about.
Okay, so that is ordered.
Yes, gym equipment's ordered.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we are 45 minutes in and we are through 13 items. 12 technically. So, yeah. So, mobile generator, I haven't heard back on that one. Have you? No, okay. The Strawberry Access had a meeting with Commissioner Blocker and Davey from Snow Basin, so I have it on my radar to make sure that we're supporting and requesting assistance on the Strawberry Access for secondary egress for the Olympics. That's on my list. We did get today the spec list. I have not had time to review it. Matt, I'll probably send it to
So,
you.
May I ask a question on the former one?
The what?
Strawberry Access?
Strawberry Access, okay.
Yeah. Have you gone to COG and asked them to support us in that effort?
I'm not on COG.
I've mentioned it, yeah,
Would you please reemphasize it every single month
I do.
and the RPO? Because,
Do
I mean,
it
it's time for
less
us to
than
get
regional.
some
I
of the
don't-
benefits of
is it on
COG
the
instead of just certain
list?
individuals. What's that?
Is it on any of the COG project lists?
Probably not.
I
I
doubt
think
it.
it is, what's written in now.
We should get it.
Finish up.
Okay,
So,
Cool.
so I'll get with them and make sure it's slated for
Okay,
that.
thank you. Because then that way we can also get WFRC behind it to help with all of this stuff, because that's a huge project for
which I
us.
mention every time too.
Yeah, and I mean, we mentioned it with the senator and everything else. We just need to really start planning for that 2034.
Correct. So I do have that on my radar. Airport RFP. So the airport was granted a beautification grant for $44,000 in 2023. It is long since expired. However, the state has no interest in it. One, they haven't given us the money. It's a reimbursable grant. They have no interest in dissolving that grant. We have our dog is your presentation. He graduated from, and I wanted him to stash drugs behind your desk, but they thought that would look bad. So now they're stashing drugs right now.
Let's see if I've got it.
I told Corey.
You're like rock, paper, scissors to see which commissioner is going to be. And then it was like, maybe no commissioner. Maybe we'll just hide it somewhere else. So that's what he's doing right now. So,
Going over there, Mike.
yeah. So, the airport board, so Sean and Commissioner Blocker were at one point kept sending like these bid estimates or estimates, but there was no RFP that was posted for that. I have told Sean that I would help him write the RFP, but I don't know what they're wanting to do. And so that's kind of where the holdup is Sean and I need to take an hour and sit down and go, okay, what are you wanting to do with this beautification grant so that I can write an RFP so we can get it posted, because it's going to be way over the bid amount, or our minimum bid amount. So that's where
The water holding them up, like, no?
We did get that figured out.
No, we didn't get it figured out, but it's not holding up the grant because the grant's for beautification. and
No,
I
I
think
mean the RFP.
before we do an
'cause
RFP
They're like, no, we don't have water.
No.
That affects what
That's
we're bidding
something-
out, how we're
And
designing it.
they haven't even got that far.
I think we
So
ought to design it for water and continue to try and get water.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just how
That's
much,
what happened
and that was
last
my,
we
the
can do
question
it.
I had is how much water do they have? What do we,
I don't mean.
what's the
do
plan? And then we can
projects
say,
without water. I'm saying just
you know, we don't need much water.
Under the
plan
city
needs to
had water.
include,
Need-
but they want it mostly to be desert type look.
Which it should be.
Yeah.
Couple
Yeah.
campuses over there.
too.
cacti.
system wouldn't take a whole lot of water.
It would.
The big thing is
Just
also,
connect it to Robert McCall's
also with that,
It's fine, we got it.
that you guys might want to consider, because we were discussing it back a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And that is the runoff from the Cottonwoods Mutual that they slough off every single day. If we could go and potentially, because I mean cattails galore in that area, and this is something Joe was trying to work on, is to, when they slough that off every day to drain their, do whatever they do for their system, if we could by chance collect that and use that for the airport, we may want to consider that
Okay.
and see if they would do that.
The employee handbook has been rewritten. It's gone to a third-party legal team. It just came back Monday. I think it came back on Monday. Yep, he was, well, you've kind of been in 17 jury trials. So he was like, I don't want to send it to him because then it'll die in the abyss of his inbox. So he's going to send it to Garrett. He's still wanting to go through it again because we did find a couple things since then in our handbook that were like, oh, how is that going to get worded? And so there were some things that we needed to change. Then it'll go through Garrett. So we're hoping to pass it at the beginning of 2026. Our fleet vehicles are in. We have our 3 fleet vehicles. They're not decaled. I am not creative. The sheriff's office has given me access to their decal person, but those are their decals. It's on my list. I will get decals on those vehicles. However,
I'll bet AI can help you.
I'm
We
sure
have a logo, don't we?
we have a logo, yes, but apparently the decal design is
It's different.
apparently, and I'm like, yeah, I do math. So how about I give you what our logo looks like? You figure it out. But apparently it's more difficult than that. So I am working with the company that the sheriff does to at least get the design or I forgot what dot it is, but
Is there any way that when we're, sorry, I have to speak into this. Any way that while we're doing it, and I don't know if it's on here, I couldn't remember if you put it, and that is to have, when they do these decals, if we can do enough of them, that it makes it cost effective, so that we can change them year to year, or if some get bad, we can put some on.
like just order extras.
Yeah,
For future fleet
for
vehicles. or-
future things.
Hey, anything I only have to do once, I'm done for. Future vehicles. Okay. We did want to put a QR on the back of recreation, so as an additional one, so people could scan the QR in the back of the recreation truck and to sign up for recreation programs. That's the only variable. I've been in discussion with UDOT. They're going to come do a presentation at the beginning of the year. I think they are slated for the first meeting in February. They have a new system similar to what the UDOT app, where it shows you what road closures and like where the plow trucks are. They have an additional that is available to all counties and municipalities and Snow Basin, places like that, so that we can put out notes, like Snow Basin can say, you know, parking lot 1 is full, aim for other places to park. Also for the county, we can put in there, hey, there's an accident in the canyon, please get off in the Morgan exit and use, the old highway.
Oh, that's nice.
In that, so they're gonna give a presentation on all the 5 million things that we can do with this new platform, because it's so convoluted, and I could not get Brett to a meeting because they were all in Ogden. So I wanted to get them here to the table so that we can know what's available to us, because it's going to be super helpful come Olympics, but not just Olympics. Snow Basin, the people that go up the canyon with their boats, their boat trailers, and then find out that there's no parking and they can't turn around. So in that discussion, I told UDOT that we would love it if they would put a variable message board here at before Morgan and before the canyon, because we have so many accidents, so that we can notify people, please get off, otherwise you're going to get shut down in the canyon for God knows how long. So just in the small amount of snow we've had this year, the one snow event we had a jackknife semi, we had an airplane land. I mean, we get crazy things in that canyon. And I think also pushing that with UDOT for that east-west mouths of the canyon for closures kind of adds to our, hey, this is why 92 is important to us. So we are in discussions with UDOT. They're so far super open to it. It's a question of who's in charge of running it, who's going to put it out, is it going to stay? If not, who's going to store it? So that's the discussion that we're in right now. So
Can I ask you a question? It's related to UDOT, but it's a little off topic. It's UDOT's portion of Old Highway Road in Mountain Green. Is it Utopia that's been putting in the fiber optic? Because they've just tore up our sidewalks, made a big mess. It's pretty messy. It doesn't look pretty.
I can forward you the email.
What sidewalks we had.
Yeah, I can forward you the email.
And would
that
UDOT be responsible for that, or Utopia?
Utopia. They
There-
have.
there
they're-
should be
they're
an
the
agreement
ones,
with
Yeah,
UDOT
they're the ones that pulled their right-of-way permit, so they would have to remediate anything. And I can forward you the email from them, so you at least have a point of contact. Hi, Sherry.
Why don't we stop on number 20?
Yeah,
That's a
that's
good
what
place to
we are
stop.
on. Or on the next one? Or do you want me to?
No, just stop at 20. We've got a 5-minute break coming up.
Yeah, on that next one, the
Oh, on the
code
next
text
one?
amendment.
Yes.
We're stopping at 20, Blaine. We're having a
I'm
5-minute,
I'm
and then we'll
just-
reconvene at 5.
Oh, I totally cannot spell.
Yeah, that's.
I even put a Coke in there for your name. Yes.
Yes, please, Mike. That planning commission one.
The planning, yes.
Text number. That was one, when I was at the meeting last week, they were like, we could really. So, I was gonna mention it until they cut it off.
It's drafted, it even has an ordinance number. It's,
Excellent.
Permission granted.
But what is the info on? Oh. Because we awarded it, right? Yes.
And then apparently it got too cold. Yeah, well, that also makes me get concrete in the spring. So, so now you get it in the spring. Can you put drugs on you?
I guess on the bright side, we can beat up the old cement over the winter. Plowing it and stuff.
That's true.
It's probably better if it sits longer too before we start plowing it. So if we do it in the spring, we'll have us a whole year before we.
I think you should have still put some hay or something. Sure, it would have really been effective.
At least I have an excuse. One. So I asked Councilman from the Planning Commission. She says it's drafted as a resolution number. It's on James District. So for that number 21, the Planning Commission. Because I talked to them. Yeah, so because I was going to bring probably the same thing. Like, hey, we really need to. Yes, that was. Hopefully that's it. Because I talked to Matt Thursday at the meeting. I was like, we really need to get to a good vote. And she's like, oh,
I was like,
either way, I'm like, no, we want your opinion. We want your vote. And so we can make a change. Just make sure that it seems to be. Yeah. Yeah. There's no reason that she's not. You know. And it's and, you know, and it's fine if they don't make a motion, but they should vote. So we can follow up on that and just make sure that that's in there. And
They don't need it.
I figured that's what we were gonna try to bring up. So.
Okay. What's that?
it's a trap.
To get moving? I think it should go. Can we just do a motion approved from F1 to F7? We can't approve F8 because it's been postponed. The dog. They're doing a little presentation because he graduated. Like Corey was telling me, he's supposed to actually be on this next.
Because we're
That's right.
Well, we will.
We should have put it. We should have put it on the first.
yeah, right.
Second's like.
That would have been perfect.
Ready, everyone?
I'm good.
Okay, we welcome everybody to tonight's commission meeting.
Not yet.
December 16th. Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you for joining us online or here in person. Appreciate your attendance here. We're going to start our meeting off by having a a invocation by Commissioner Newton, and he'll lead us in a Pledge of Allegiance as well.
Our Father in heaven, we're so grateful to gather here this evening as residents of Morgan County, and we're grateful for all those that live here and work here and serve here. We're thankful for the goodness of the people that live here and their kind hearts, and that they give and help others. And we ask Thee to bless us, especially this time of year, that we will be able to identify the needs of those in our community and help them. We're thankful for the opportunity to serve as elected officials, and ask that Thou wilt bless us as we discuss the needs of the community, that we will make wise decisions. These things we pray for in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Newton. Appreciate that. Okay, we're on to our consent agenda items. Our county attorney has asked that B5 be pulled. Is that still correct?
Yes, and I spoke with Cindy Kay earlier, and we're asking that when that gets to the action item, it can be postponed to the first meeting in January.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve items B1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7, moving item B5 to the action items.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, now do we have any commissioner conflicts of interest in tonight's agenda? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to D, public comments. If there's anyone here that has a public comment, come forward now, and we give you 3 minutes. Ask you to keep it to that. Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our presentation. Sheriff, do you want to take over from here on the presentation?
So the last few months, we've had our canine getting trained with our handler, and he's finished, graduated, and already been out finding some dope. And today we're gonna give you a little demonstration on what he's doing. Cole, you wanna bring Ace in? This is Ace.
A lab?
Yes. You wanna circle him up around, do whatever you wanna do.
Uh-oh, Vaughn.
It's my students, if anybody. My students. Should have gone and changed before I came.
How old is Ace?
He is just about a year and 1 month now.
Okay.
It's like cookies.
What kind of cookies did you get, man? So Cole, the handler, and myself went down to Vegas to pick him up. I think it was in August.
Over a year.
What's he trained to find?
meth, cocaine, heroin, and fentanyl.
How do they do that without harming them? How do they train them to do that?
They make it to be a toy.
Probably just locked on it.
They just sent balls, they sent things, and have them hide it. Go ahead.
You get it was on the sheriff.
And he's found it.
Found it? Is he sitting and staring?
So how does he indicate that he found it? Sorry, we couldn't see him.
He laid down and he just sits there and nudges at it, and he puts all his attention to it, will not move.
So when you're out on a road stop or whatever, he would go around a vehicle and just stop where he...
Stop and sit down and just indicate that that's where it's at.
That's cool.
Go. So you've had much, when did
Last week,
He's already found.
he's already found some?
found 7 grams of meth.
Wow, that's awesome.
So what do we got in our box here?
Cocaine.
That's a lot of
Says
cocaine.
cash.
It is quite a bit of cocaine.
It's cocaine. Well, I
Usually
unlocked
find
the
them
room
on-
and I turned the
on,
lights on.
like,
And there's paint cans. And I was
Traffic
like,
stops? Is that where you usually find it, or?
Traffic stop. So last year I started an interdiction program, and so we're doing, and we was using South Ogden and Riverdale's dog to come up and help us do searches. So I thought, why not get our own dog? As Garrett pointed out, we needed it, and sitting on traffic stops for 20 minutes to a half hour waiting for other agency's dog to come up was not in our best interest.
Do they ever take it over to the school and?
Yes, we'll take it over to school. We haven't yet, but yes, we will.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Like he's a non-bite dog.
No, I just mean, what's he gonna find?
Hopefully nothing.
Hopefully nothing. Yeah.
nothing.
So is the dog and the like
Handler.
Cole is the handler? Are they like partners all
Yeah,
the time?
they're partners. They live together. They bonded together. They certified together.
Oh, okay.
So
So that
that's
means
his
he's
dog.
going to be on call more often than not.
Right.
Okay.
That is the only thing we could find that would partner with Cole. Was
So Cole has a history with a dog as well. His dad was a handler with Weber County for years and years. So
That helps.
figured
He grew up
he
with
would
one of
probably-
those dogs in the house. So Cole could never hide drugs in the house. Huh?
No, never could.
Not that he did.
So the dog you found couldn't be trained, apparently, huh? The dog that you found?
the one that lives in your house and is your well,
It
sleeps
didn't
in
want to
your
leave
bed.
me.
So is it
Didn't
still,
want to leave me. It wanted to stay with me.
Gotcha.
is it still there?
Yes. Yeah, Chloe's still at my house.
Well, that's great. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Cole, nice work.
Good work.
Yeah, I'll get it out of here.
Word will get out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure
Good.
you cover your hands with that.
Maybe they'll avoid I-84 altogether.
Yes.
Don't act like you weren't handling it there. I'm kidding.
Is Kimberly gonna be here or you?
She's right there.
Oh, can't see her.
But you
Oh, there
have
she is.
you
Okay.
have the one item that came out of consent.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Mr. Chair, I move that we postpone item B5
Thanks for my.
to the first meeting in January.
Okay. Have I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, Kate, for bringing us back there. Okay, Kimberly. Action item F1.
No.
So, we've been working on the cash handling and deposit policy. I think we're pretty much finalized with it. Me and Garrett went through and just made a couple changes to today to update everything. Wanna hear me? Just kidding.
We get nasty gramps from Jeremy. If he can't hear you. No,
So-
get a text. Great.
And if you are you done with your general comments? And I'll jump into the specifics. So yeah, going through this, it was really good to get everyone's perspective. And I thought I'd just point out the substantive changes in order. So when we get to 4.2, there was just a simple clarification where it has the 3 bullet points to say treasurer, semicolon, clerk auditor, semicolon, and county attorney, just so all three of us are on board with any different changes to different payment systems or who's authorized with Venmo. Specifically, and this is also for the public, the only official Venmo that has currently been approved is for the county fair. And we want to limit that as much as we can, just because, and it can't be, as you read later in the policy, anyone's personal, but we want it to be really focused in the fair for now. If it does expand from there, then the three of us have to get on board with it, and we will also, I'm sure, loop in the commissioner over that portfolio to say, this is what we're thinking. Let's just make sure we're on board.
And when you say the three of us, you mean the treasurer, the clerk auditor, and the county attorney?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. I kind of was seeing all of us in a line here, and they color coordinated very well
So,
with Christmas
do
colors.
you want to go and put in there as a bullet point, the commissioner in charge of whatever?
Of the portfolio, I'm okay if that's in there as well, because I don't think we'd do that without it. Do you see any issues with that?
Because, I mean, I know we've got another one we've got to figure out for the auto show.
And the airport asked for it last meeting as well for tie downs.
For what?
Tie downs. Like when you fly
Tie
in
down
and
a
you don't
plane.
have a,
Airplane.
yeah, you don't have a hangar, but you can tie down.
Yeah, that's true. So
Yeah.
we're gonna have to have something that works with all these different entities, whatever they might do. Maybe it's the Historical Society with the annual event they have.
The Front Street.
So Front Street or the library or whatever it is, we've got to have something that, and I wrote all that in there. But, so those were my questions. Was that Venmo account, how we're gonna maintain it, how we're gonna do it. Because if we haven't done it in the past, we need to now start teaching everybody about it for this next year.
Right, and throughout the policy, they have to be trained and approved to even use that. And so with the fair, I think we talked about that there were some things that we'd like to tighten up next year, have a meeting before the fair to go over and do the training, make sure they understand what it is, and then a post meeting to say how did it go and debrief and make sure the policy was followed.
Okay.
So your suggestion or based on the discussion, Commissioner Fackrell, would just be to say treasurer, clerk auditor, county attorney, and commissioner over the assigned portfolio.
Yes.
All right, and then at the bottom of 4.3, we'll add a similar provision just to make it even more clear. When it's talking about prohibited payment methods, it will include a new bullet point that says any payments to the county's official Venmo account unless expressly approved by the treasurer, clerk auditor, county attorney, and commissioner over the assigned portfolio.
Sounds great.
All right, under 5.1, so the receiving office, it has a definition earlier in the document that talks about a receiving office being someone who receives money prior to transfer to the treasurer's office. And so in speaking with Kimberly, we thought it would be good to just remove that second to bottom bullet point under 5.1 that says report discrepancies immediately, because if they are taking that money, there shouldn't be any discrepancies unless they're taking it in violation of the cash handling policy. They should know immediately whether they received the full amount or not. And then add a bullet point that says deliver a monthly report of all transactions to the treasurer's office so that everything is being updated. And as I understand, it's already happening with those that are bringing it down. We're just putting it into the deposit policy.
So, point of clarification, are we also changing the title of this document?
No.
Oh, it already has
It already has
deposit?
it in
Okay.
it, and so that's why, yeah, I asked the same thing, and Kimberly's like, no, it includes deposits as well, so. All right, and then under, if we go down to 12, record retention. And so when Janet pulled this together, and it can be kind of confusing, but there were some numbers that stood out, but in talking with Kimberly, there's other policies that they have with the state archives. And so rather than outlining the minimum retention schedule, we'll just say that it'll be based on state statute and policies as amended, because they are amended from time to time, and then we won't have to come and amend our policy. And so that'll be incorporated, and we'll move the minimum retention numbers that are put in there. We'll keep the records, include, and
So
all
you're
of
gonna
that.
take out those 3 bullet points in.
That's correct. And just generally reference state statutes and policies as amended.
Okay. Will you go back to one? Number 7.
Number 7 or point 7?
Yeah. 7.2, the bottom bullet point says within the same fiscal month. What happens if a payment comes in the last day? What do you do then? Because there you're putting it as the fiscal month, which is in our case the end of the month, every month. Okay, so if that happens and it comes in, it cannot be, they cannot do a they can't record it necessarily. Well, they can record it, but there's not a reconciliation. And that was in maybe one of the others I looked at. There had to be a reconciliation of all the accounts on the last day with all entities. Well, if it's that day, then you can't reconcile it until the next day.
And so I'm not sure
Or is
exactly.
That's
just
under
the-
recording, so it can be recorded.
So
It
the
can be
payments are
recorded, but-
recorded within the month. The reconciliation's a totally different process, which is outlined in this, but that
in
part that you're
11.
pointing out is just recording the payments. So if a payment came in today and it was the last day of the month, it would be recorded today.
But reconciled the following
Reconciling,
month.
it would be reconciled the next month, because that's when it would be deposited to the bank, is like the next business day. So that would be reconciled with the next month. But for this piece where it just says recording payments, they are within the same month.
Okay. All right, fine.
All right, and then to 13. It is the second to bottom bullet point when it just talks about referral to the county attorney. It kind of just sounds like go to the principal's office. Well, what are we being referred for, right? It's for ethical, civil, or criminal evaluation. So.
So are you going to add that to it? Or
Yeah,
you just-
if we could add that in, so referral to the county attorney for ethical, civil, or criminal evaluation.
Fighting, carrying a weapon.
Yeah,
Okay,
and those are, I think, all the things we discussed.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve CR 25-65, the county's cash handling policy with the amendment and deposit policy with the amendments discussed at tonight's meeting.
I'll second it.
okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Newton, a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. And Garrett's office.
Sean? F2?
Good evening, Commissioners. So in line with my last presentation with you guys in the commission meeting, starting in 26, I would like to ask for your approval for a budget change form for the pay increase for the GIS specialist to take on the countywide GIS jobs and duties. I spoke with Casey, this is what we came up with.
And just to clarify, this is because we're dissolving all the other GIS contracts, third party.
Correct.
So is there already money in the 26 budget for those contract services that we can slide over for this? Do you know?
Sure there is, actually.
I know that there is from my department. I can't speak for the other
Probably is
departments.
from planning too, I would guess, right?
Should be.
Yeah, so planning is a little different. They're still working with Wasatch Civil. That's not gonna go away. But the
No,
the
GIS,
GIS
right.
portion of it
Yeah.
will. I don't know how much.
What the dollar amount is, but there should be some funding we can
Yes.
move from those accounts over that would, I'm sure, more than cover this, because we've been paying significantly more than that for.
So,
Been paying like 3,000 a month
And
just for one of those.
so recorder, assessor, and P and Z.
Correct.
Do we
Okay.
know, from the assessor standpoint, do you have anything baked into your budget currently?
She does.
Do you happen to know the dollar amount off the top of your head?
So-
She's already got another use for that.
But if I can speak. So me and Janelle have talked, freeing up this money that was going to the contracted, Jeff Ward, GIS, that money can be better spent for their departments, to better their departments. And so I would hope that we wouldn't just take that money away from the departments until they say otherwise. But just speaking with Janelle, that money can be spent better with her, for her department, to make her department better.
Does this increase, does it cover?
I'm not understanding what you're saying. You're saying not take it away from the departments. I'm trying to figure out what you're speaking to on their departments.
We're freeing up the money.
Okay, for GIS, I gotcha.
Janelle's paying Jeff Ward.
Okay.
So freeing up that money, I'm just saying, don't look at it as we're just gonna take that money and pay this increase for the GIS specialist now in-house. I'm saying hear it from the other departments before we take that money away, to make sure they can't use that money elsewhere.
Okay, we'll always listen to them, but we just went through our budget.
No, and I understand.
Yeah.
But
So,
things change, and that's why I'm coming up here now for 26. We didn't know this was gonna happen now.
sure, no, I get it. We agreed upon this when we talked to you last time. I didn't know how you were speaking for other departments on don't take their money from them, so.
Until you talk to them, I think is what
You
you
talk
said.
to
Correct.
them.
Okay.
okay, I have a question. This 4725 that you're asking for, that's for this year,
No,
for
next year.
December.
Next year.
No,
Okay,
it's-
It
'cause
says-
it is,
Right here,
Twenty-
for
Fiscal year
26.
my question is this, does that include benefits? Because we're seeing
The second
throughout-
line for benefits.
They're in the second
The
page.
reason why is because we've got a whole bunch of extra things in here, budget change forms for benefits. Why are the benefits changed so much and drastically that we did not budget them this year, and all of a sudden now, oh, you got to pay more in benefits this year? I'm just
I
curious
put it
why.
in the same document twice. Sorry. That's on me. I'll find it.
And I mean, it's not just pointed at you, Sean. It's all of the departments. I've noticed it in every single one of these, that we are all of a sudden, oh, we've got to pay this additional amount in benefits this year. So how did we screw up in benefits last year in our budget?
So if I can speak for my office, I know the difference. Me and Casey
Well, you
figured it out, that before I was even here last year, they hired moved an employee from one department to another department. That budget never got included into the recorder's budget. So the difference is because when that employee got moved from one department to the next, the budget for the benefits and the pay never got asked for, adjusted. So that's why my office is falling short with the benefits and
And in the Q4 budget presentation, she has all that listed with all the reasons. And I apologize, it looks like I put the pay increase in the packet twice and did not put this document in there. And this is the amount of the increase for the benefits.
I thought the other one it had a big X through it, so I just thought it was a
duplicate.
yeah.
So the total is 5,700.
Just under 5,800, just under 58.
I'm thrilled that we're doing this, so.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea.
I'm just trying to figure out why we're having so many of these adjustments on benefits.
I don't know on the other ones, but I
This
guess
is-
we'll ask.
I mean, this one is commiserate with the
Yeah, I
the
can
pay
understand that,
increase.
but that's just. You're not
Okay.
the only-
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the 2026 budget adjustment for the Recorder's GIS specialist.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Sorry for messing that up in the packet.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Forgiven. Time of that season. It's the season. 'Tis the season. Okay. BOE. I guess we need to.
There's one more,
One more
Sean.
for Sean.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so I have brought this up to you guys a few times. We put this RFP out a couple months ago. We got it back, and the cost was, in our minds, was outrageous. So we went back, discussed, we redid the RFP, we localized it into one specific portion to hopefully narrow or take the cost down. We got this back, and we're still sitting at 22,000 for this project. I am here to ask, where do we go from here? How would you like to?
This is for 595 feet of boundary.
Wow. What was the price before? Like 50?
No, 32,000.
So, can you just explain to me, Kate, maybe, I realize we're fighting over a boundary line, right? Or,
This is, so we have
so
several.
how much money are we talking about? Are we trying to fight over a boundary line to gain
No.
$1,000
Nope,
or?
nope. This is a BOE issue. Janelle, yes.
Janelle Walker, Morgan County Assessor. It's one thing that we just need to decide what we want to do because it is a cabin. It is about $2,000 in taxes. We have it valued about 160. I can't remember. They're all fall on the top of my head, but so it's $160,000 that we have in value. That's with the land and the improvement for the cabin. So we are seeing that the cabin is on Morgan County sideline. And so it was in the 90s that it was built. And so it's how we want to go forward with that. Do we want to figure out whether that line is where it is? Or do we want to say, you can have it and we'll just say that Summit County can assess it and we won't assess it?
See, and I think the bigger issue is not the value amount. I think the bigger issue is that if we let it slide and let Summit County just take pieces and say, oh, this is yours, that's not going to stop. Unfortunately. Because this is not the only piece where they've started to do things like that.
Bittner Ranch, you've got
So,
Dearman Ranch, you've got
because this was submitted,
And if we have it done and it's not right,
so to my understanding.
still on their side?
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
about
risk.
five.
right?
That's what we were saying. It's about 560 feet is what we are approximating it from where that line is to where it is in Morgan County and where that cabin sits.
And if we do it and they appeal it, then what? I'm just
So,
wondering.
They are appealing it.
Yeah. So right now we're taxing it and Summit County is taxing it. To my understanding, and these two can correct me,
Why are we having to prove it? Why don't they have to prove it?
because
they have approved it and it wasn't in their
So
county to
they
approve.
say that they're in Summit County.
they being the property owner.
They being the
Correct.
property owner and the property development, they're saying that it's in Morgan, that it is in Summit County and that they want to stay in Summit County.
Can they prove that though?
So
Can we force them to prove
time
it
out. Okay.
themselves?
So this is in here because we submitted for RFP and we got an RFP back. I'm not saying we need to approve it. Being that we are currently throwing a wrench in their 910 cattle ranch thing, and now all of a sudden they want to talk to us, I think we use that as an opportunity to discuss all of the boundary issues. I say that because right now in no pun intended with the drug dog being here, but it's just a bunch of drug deals. So they're like, even Summit County is like, oh yeah, that's yours. But if you let us keep it, we'll swap it for this land over here. You're not the lieutenant governor. You don't get to choose where our boundary lines are. So I think with the hopefully the headway we make with the other boundary issues mixed in with the 910 cattle ranch, we have the opportunity of not having to expend this money, but also explain to Summit County, we are not a bunch of dumb hicks. This is our property. And also having that priority bill file of you don't get to own 2,000 acres in Morgan County with a federal grant. I think now that they see that we're going to push back and we're not just going to roll over, if they want ground in Morgan County, they can file with the lieutenant governor for a boundary adjustment. Until then, they can pay taxes. And that's kind of where we're at. But we did have to put this in the packet because we did put it out for RFP and we did get a submission.
So on this RFP, even though this is only for 600 feet about, and it was 10,000 more to have that whole section
Subdivision,
done.
yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna do, in my opinion, if we can afford it, is to go and have the whole thing done, because it seems to me like Summit County is just plain
That's
flat
that,
out
just that subdivision
encroaching
though.
us.
That's just that subdivision. That's not the whole boundary.
That's just that area.
I do think this brings up a great point, though, that Sean brought up recently with us, which was that surveyors cost a tremendous amount of money when you contract with them. I mean, if we're spending $30,000 for a short piece of, one project, and we're spending another $30,000 or $40,000 to establish section corners, by the time you do a couple of those a year, you could have hired somebody and had them do tremendously more projects and it's a lot more bang for your buck. So I think that's something that we ought to at least think about and now we know what the cost is to do some of this.
Amen.
So it would not be my recommendation to approve this RFP, but just for transparency, we followed the process, we posted it, we got a submission. The price hurts. I don't feel like it's our price to pay. And at the end of the day, I feel like the ROI isn't there. It's going to take us 20 plus years to capture that back in property taxes. But at the time that we posted this RFP, we didn't have the state listening to us on our 910 cattle ranch issue. So now that I feel like we have a partner in that fight, we have more to work with to drag them, being Summit County, to the table and say, hey, like, boundaries are boundaries for a reason. Neither of us can supersede the LG. Let's play in our own lanes.
Okay.
Just
Let's
looking
just
to
postpone it.
No, I think we would just
I
decline the
think
RFP.
you would just decline it.
If I can say one thing, this has been going on since 2006. So we definitely need to figure out what to do going forward.
Well, they want us to fix that 910 issue yesterday.
And
so-
I understand that, but for this in particular, an issue, been going on since 2006. So if we don't make a decision tonight, we really need to figure out what we're going to do going forward.
My opinion is we continue to charge them every single year until Summit County comes to the table. My opinion.
Well, I think this brings up the thing, as we've discussed before. I mean, when you start to look at, we see it every week, the costs coming through surveyor. It's like, are we now big enough to where, $20,000 to do 600 feet, section corners? Do we just look at what the cost is to hire a surveyor and then get way more work done than what we're paying for right now for less money? I think that's the direction that we need to look at is, what are we paying for right now? And are we going to save money and get way more work done by having an in-house survey? I'm thinking that's the direction it's leaning. But I'd like to see the data on that. Like, what are we really spending every year on surveying? And what does it cost to get our own surveyor?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's going to come back. It's cheaper to have somebody here. But I think that's.
But to your issue, you're saying if we decline this, it doesn't make the issue go away.
No.
I do truly feel like we will have a sit down with Summit before the end of the year. Is that okay?
Sean, what are your suggestions to solve this? Besides
Hire a
this.
surveyor.
Surveyor. In my presentation, last commission, we need a surveyor. And this would be taken care of. We wouldn't be having this discussion because it would already be getting taken care of. So my recommendation is we get us an in-house surveyor. I can bring you the data. I can bring you anything you want in reference to that. But that's my answer. We need a surveyor.
I just think the data just shows the public that we are looking at the numbers. We're justifying what we're doing. I have no doubt that it's going to come back because I mean we see it every week, the costs that are coming through. But I just think for the public to see that these are the real costs, this is what it is, so that when we make that decision, they're not just saying, oh, there they are, just spending more money. So obviously, I mean, I agree that something needs to happen, but I think just for the transparency for the public that we show them the numbers so that we can justify our decision. I think we do need to move fairly quick and just, get this moving forward.
Isn't the property owner interested in getting a survey?
No, they want to stay in Summit County.
I know, but do they want to prove
mean,
they're in
yes
Summit
and no.
County?
There has been multiple surveys for this issue and along with both directions. But that's where, coming from Morgan County, we have no survey, we have nothing to back up us saying it's in Morgan County. So the reason,
So their surveys say it's in Summit County.
Their survey has a crow that flies very jaggedly from point to point. It's like, usually when you see a boundary line, it looks like this. This is a pretty distinct, maybe there's a really strong wind gust with that crow flying that day.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that the entire boundaries of the county have ever necessarily been surveyed. They're described, right?
Correct.
They say they follow the mountain ridge or whatever, but that's part of the issue is, yeah, which ridge, right? And where does, so actually having a survey is, I guess, key to resolving that.
When you think about what that would cost to really set that line, that in one fell swoop would pay for somebody for the year.
Which is why when this was brought up several years ago between Summit and Morgan, there was the conversation that each county was going to pay for a survey of the boundary line. Summit County, in their endless checkbook, went ahead and followed through on that. Morgan County got that bid and were like, we're good, and did not do that. So
Could any of this cost fall onto the state?
I mean, I
Since
guess we
it's
could
never
file a
been-
boundary line appeal.
yeah, yes to Kate's,
That's just going to cost attorneys instead of.
but we still have nothing on our side. We have no data, we have no surveys, we have nothing to back us up.
So,
I will look up with the LG's office the process of a boundary line appeal, because it sounds like we're probably going to have to do that at some point anyway. Do you want to do the work of getting an idea on a surveyor cost, and then we'll bring that to a January commission meeting? We'll still requesting to decline this bid, and then I'll let you know when we have that meeting with Summit.
so back to the issue, and we cannot vote on it tonight because it's not on the agenda, but I think we ought to really bring up the fact that we need to just look for the surveyor. That's my opinion.
That's what she
Well, let's
just
get-
gave him.
That's
Yeah,
what
let's
she's
get
asking
the dollar
to-
amounts.
To get the numbers. Mr. Chair, I move that we decline the RFP submission for the Summit Morgan County Boundary Verification Survey work.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Nickerson and a second by Commissioner Newton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
You'll get with me on that for January? Okay, thanks, Sean.
Sean?
Thanks, Sean. Okay,
Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn the public meeting and convene as a Board of Equalization.
Second?
Have a motion by Commissioner Newton, a second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're now Board of Equalization.
Good evening, Commissioners. So your first application is from Wendy Louise Knutson. Her application is in your packet. Do you have any questions?
I was just, the only thing that I thought was odd in there is that they thought the county was giving themselves a raise and trying
Yeah, that
new
was
ways to
quite
up
offended
their
with
salary. I don't get that one, but can you help us with this a little bit more? Give us a little bit more background on this? Because why is this so confusing? I'm not understanding that. Why were they so confused?
The assessor's office actually communicated with them previous to filing this, so I asked Janelle to be here.
We got a strange notice in the mail about some rebate on taxes.
So in 2024, how she's saying that it's primary resident, it actually wasn't a primary resident, it was a lot. And then for 2025, we placed the house on. So the improvement went on for 2025 at 100%. It was non-primary because we haven't gotten the residential exemption. We did send a few of them out, and as she's saying, you know, with the mail and all of this, that she didn't get it. She actually reached out to us. We have an email from Holly on August 1st, which is still in the process of the BOE. It is open still, and she never responded back she said that she would be getting back and getting to the appeal. So Holly stated that she would have to go through the appeal process to have that changed, and that did not happen.
So we responded to her and let her know the process, and she said she would get back to us.
Yep.
And didn't.
Well, she did not appeal. So she didn't get the information to whether she appealed. She still had till September 15th is the deadline, so.
I don't see where this particular individual met the requirements for a postponement. Unfortunately. Garrett, can you just remind us what those
Just
requirements are?
another way of saying that is she doesn't fall within one of the exceptions where you can reopen the BOE. Anything, it is actually, if you go back up to their, nope, just slightly up. It has all of the exceptions listed on the BOE form. Nope, right there. Keep going back up where you were before, sorry.
Sorry. There you go.
So right there. It says the Board of Equalization will accept a late filed request for review of locally assessed property if it can show that the county, by its act or failure to act, interfered with the right to notice, hearing, county's record contain a factual error, medical emergency, death, or another extraordinary and unanticipated circumstance occurred during the Board of Equalization period and prevented you and any co-owner from filing an appeal by the filing deadline. And then it talks about, which at the last meeting where we were talking about these failure of U.S. Postal Service isn't in and of itself enough. They would have to show that we addressed it wrong. And all of the Utah State Tax Commission opinions are of that. They support that. So once again, if there is no exception, you can deny the request and it can still go to the state for the state to correct anything that we did wrong here. But if there's no exception, that's where my recommendation is to not open it up, because then you open it up for everyone who doesn't fall under an exception.
So, but they can go to the state. And
They always can.
And
Yep,
the state
if it's
will-
denied,
can
it'll
make
go to
that
the state.
decision.
But they're good for next year, right? As a primary.
Sorry, just wanted to capture that on mic. Yes, she has since filled out the application and is good for 2026.
Yes, she has filled it out. And for 26, she does have primary.
Okay. I'll look. We need to make a motion on each one? Is that what we need to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I move that we decline. to have CR 25-22-BOE as a late appeal request.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Fackrell, a second by Commissioner Newton. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay. Motion is unanimous.
Your next application is from Brooks Fernelius. He selected 3 different reasons why he wants this late appeal opened. That is in your packet. Do you have any questions?
I believe Garrett's recap email was that there's more than one owner of record on this parcel, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
There's actually 4, and so the 2 owners of record include Brooks and his wife. I think that, you know, there could be an argument made for the medical emergency. However, a birth in and of itself isn't an emergency when it's anticipated for quite some time. However, there were some complications at the end, and so arguably there could be. However, when it says prevented you and any co-owners from filing an appeal by the filing deadline, and there's 2 others that were not involved with the pregnancy, that could be argued as a medical emergency given the nature at the end. I think that that's where it makes it really difficult to find it within an exception, because there's 2 additional owners that were not at the hospital.
They also had a whole month to appeal it before that, because we get them on the 22nd of July, and this is 24th of August. So.
So when there's multiple owners of record, do we send multiple notices, or we send a single notice? The issue is that you could have there's multiple people available that could have come and made the
Correct.
appeal.
Yes, and we send it to the address that they give us through the recorder's office. So that is the address that it's sent to. So all the disclosures, and with the primary residential exemptions, that's the address we use is what they have on file.
So the 4 property owners made the decision of what mailing address all notices would go to.
Yes, and they do that through their title when they do.
They do their title work.
Yep, when they do the title work, it says remitted to, and then it will have the address.
And in this situation, it went to these folks here
Yes.
that have.
To Brooks, it went to his address.
So it did not, the other 2 owners never got it.
Correct. Yep, correct.
But I think what they're saying is at time of closing, they decided that the Brooks
That
were
was
going
the
to be
address they
mailing
wanted
address
it.
for notice.
But he's also saying, oh, sorry, never mind, that's the additional owners.
Yeah, they also did say that they had a hard time getting that their mailing was incorrect, because they actually live in the Rome subdivision. So that is also something, but through the Board of Equalization, it actually states that the postal service is not one of the conditions of why it could be opened or closed.
I'm gonna make a comment that's probably not popular on that. The county had to get involved with the Rome addressing issue. Granted, the issue stemmed from the developer themselves mislabeling the lots. And the addressing got messed up, and they had to re-record the plat, and then they recorded the plat incorrectly, and then they had to redo it again. So there is documentation, granted it was on the developer side, not county error, that there was huge issues with Rome.
Go after the developer.
I mean, they can.
Got you. Just more cost.
We just like you to make hard decisions.
Yeah.
But even if it is denied, it still has the right to be able to go to the state, so.
I mean, I don't know that it qualifies as a medical emergency. extraordinary or unanticipated circumstance. But you've got a month's worth of time to do it.
Yeah. And the other ones that we've had, just I guess for that purpose of the post office, is we have had others that were denied because of the post office space that wasn't relevant to the other.
Well, and it's clear here, I mean, it specifically says that the post office is not a reason.
Right.
So we can't
I think
cite
I'm just
that.
stating that because if the commission decides to deny and the applicant wants to take it to the state and wants to grandma us for that email history between Rome and the attorney's office and myself and the post office, I don't know if the state tax commission will take that into consideration,
Yeah.
that there was clearly an error, not a county error, but clearly an error, and to the point where the postal service pretty much stopped giving mail to Rome.
We can go on the place too, though, that they can still go onto the website, or they can call any of us and get their tax roll. So
That
there
means-
is some space of that, but there's also another space where you can come in and anytime get a tax roll, and we can give you that information.
That being said, preeclampsia can be a medical emergency.
Yeah.
It can cause gestational diabetes. It can cause high blood pressure.
Is that what they said happened?
Yeah. She had
Oh, I didn't
preeclampsia.
realize that. Okay.
In the mom
I
and
thought it was
baby,
just having
causing
a
death. Having had it, it can be a medical emergency. So I
Yep, it can.
see where they're coming from. If they're, I don't know if they're first-time parents or not, but if you're a first-time dad, I don't know how dads feel, but I know how moms feel.
Yeah.
So,
And I think it does qualify under that.
yeah.
And she was hospitalized. I do know that when you're having a issue in your family, taxes aren't the first thing that comes to your mind. You're laying in bed going, hey, I think my taxes are due, or I should have filed for that, or whatever. So I could go either way on this, because I probably would err on their side on this one myself, but
Yeah, I just want to be fair across the board and consistent. I think it is consistent, though, if we can identify the specific portion of it that does qualify as a exemption, and so be it, right?
And in their eyes, this is an emergency.
Yeah.
Well, and it's. I
It
mean,
is.
Absolutely. I mean, I had a cousin that lost triplets because of preeclampsia and has a daughter with some severe problems because of that. And so, I mean, I see it, the first 2 weeks of September was being monitored daily, and then the last 2 weeks was hospitalized. I mean, I think the last thing on their mind is, are my taxes getting paid on time? Or, you know, I mean, the post office, the addressing, I think that's another legit thing. The addresses were a mess, but I kind of see this as, I can see where they're not focused on anything else. So Mr. Chair, I'm going to move that we approve, sorry, I put my page here. We approve CR 25-23-BOE, the late appeal request by Brooks Cornelius.
Second.
okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Nickerson, second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Okay, Chair, your next presenter, granted we have,
I think we need to go out of BOE, right?
sorry,
Yeah,
you were
Mr. Chair, I
correct.
move that we close the BOE meeting and reconvene the public commission meeting.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Newton, a second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're now back as a commission.
So we have August Graniff that met with us on the December 2nd meeting. He is online. We have Sherry Stevens from the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity here in the audience. This is the recap of what was presented last commission meeting. Commissioner Blocker did email today and ask for a change. I've heard the changes made, but I haven't gotten an updated document. Do you know what the status of that is, Sherry? Yes, please.
I also sent her one too today,
The only one I saw was.
but you didn't see it. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I should have done it through the same channel, but I didn't.
August, can you hear us? Cool. Sherry.
Go ahead.
So, good evening, Sherry Stevens with the Governor's Office of Economic Opportunity. August should be online and able to hear and join in. after work session on December 2nd, August and I were able to meet and make additions to the Rural Blueprint Economic Plan based on input and feedback from Commission. Commissioner Blocker's input has been added. Commissioner Fackrell's has been added but may not be included in the packet because it came in today. So we added it later this evening. It is in the final revision of
And
economic plan.
if you'd like to know what that was, it was the fact that I have been working with Weaver County and Davis County about the trail going down through the canyon and WFRC. And so in the parts where it was talking about infrastructure, that's where I brought that up.
And Commissioner Blocker, do you want to speak to yours as well, since it was today and therefore wasn't in the packet for
Was
the
it
public?
today or was it
It was
yesterday?
yesterday.
Yeah, and it's in the packet, but
Oh,
just
it is?
addressing the
I didn't see it in
Snow
the
Basin Road.
Yay! Hi, Grant. August. Sorry, I almost called you Granith.
Had an issue with his mute button.
Okay, great. Sorry, I was trying to speak earlier, but I wasn't going through it.
So
I had addressed Commissioner Blocker's comment in the initial revision before the meeting.
Okay.
It's under Goal 2, Strategy 2, Project 2. The exact language is, quote, work with UDOT to explore the possibility of developing Strawberry Road access to Snow Basin Resort to increase private development and tax revenue on the Morgan County side of the resort, unquote. That is in the packet on page 15 of the blueprint. I added since to a version of the blueprint that is not in the packet, an additional project, Goal 3, Strategy 2, Project number 10, to address Commissioner Fackrell's suggested revision. Project is described as, quote, trail to connect Morgan, Davis, and Weaver counties through Weaver Canyon, unquote. Other than that, we made revisions as recommended by the commission at last week's meeting, and should be ready for adoption based off of commission input.
So when, August, will I receive the updated document?
I can send that right now.
Okay.
On my side.
Thank you. I'd love that, and that way I can get it autographed tonight if it's passed by commission. So what's in the packet already has Commissioner Blockers. All we're adding is Goal 3, Project, you said 10, but did you mean Project 3? Goal 2, Project 10. Okay. Okay. Goal 3, Project 2, Strategy 10 is an addition. Okay.
So is that different than 9?
Yeah.
That's different.
This is
than
going
mine.
down towards
This is
Helena,
another
and
one.
this one's going over to Huntsville.
Gotcha.
I like what you've done.
It's very nice.
It's very
We can
good.
just snap our fingers and have it all done.
And we appreciate the
And the money in our bank.
Yeah. Yeah. And we appreciate the governor's office allowing us to apply for this free program.
This is great. Thanks for all the work.
Yeah, now all we need is the money to go along with making all this stuff work. From the governor's office.
Okay, I'll look for motion.
I move that we accept the what's it called?
Rural Economic Blueprint.
Rural Economic
Blueprint.
Economic Blueprint, CR 25-66, with the additions that we've made tonight.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Fackrell and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Came up
Thank
here all
you.
just for that.
Thank you. Thanks, August.
Right, Sherry?
Okay, it's 6 o'clock.
Wanna
It looks
jump
like
to 7?
it looks like F. It looks like F F8, everyone got the word on that. If anyone's here for F8, public hearing on the Thackeray rezone, or the Thurston rezone, that has been postponed, so. But it looks like everybody's got the memo, so we'll go to F6.
Or do you want to do F7?
7, Leslie, you're standing. Go ahead. Thank you. Way to butt in line.
Sorry about that. I am here seeking approval of Q4 budget amendments, Resolution CR 2560. This resolution will be making department adjustments, fund balance adjustments, grants received for flood disaster, economic development, fairgrounds, and fire, and other fund adjustments. You will notice that on page 3, there's some highlighted accounts that are on the screen. Those have not been before you because we are at year end, and I went through the budget and realized some of our departments were going to go over. You were talking previously about some of the benefits. Why are they going over? You need to remember that you budget very strictly for benefits. We do not plan for every department. So if there's a change in a department and that employee takes family benefits, it's gonna affect our budget.
All right.
We usually don't worry about it till the end of the year, so we know a better idea of how much money we're looking at. Instead of just fixing it at the first, we just clean it up at the end. And so that's why you're seeing those. I just want you to be aware you have not approved those previously, so I wanted you to know that.
I do want to apologize to Leslie because when I reviewed the budget, hence all those changes that you approved last meeting, I did not look at payroll lines. I only looked at budgetary lines. I did not look at pay and benefits.
I think that will be a topic of discussion at our next department head meeting. Of department heads need to watch their benefits and their wages, and we need to, know if there's a problem. I have a lot going on and I can't watch everything, so. I also made a wording change on page 1 under attorney. Attorney Smith asked me if I would make a wording change, and it will now read budget and adjustment redesignating funds from code rewrite. So I just kind of reworded what I had there. I wanted you to be aware I did make that change.
So instead of the 40,000, it's just 20 now?
No, it was all
the amount's still the same.
20.
I'm just changing the wording where it says budget adjustment to cover the code rewrite.
Yeah.
It now says budget adjustment redesignating funds from the code rewrite. So it's just a little bit different.
So it's not covering the code rewrite, it's coming back from the code rewrite. So that was the confusion. But I think what you're asking about, Commissioner Fackrell, is that there was 40,000 initially. It doesn't require a budget adjustment to come to this body because to go to non-departmental, it's in the same,
Yes, you're right.
whatever that's called.
It's within the same department.
Department, thank you.
I was gonna say, most of these are all within the same department.
Correct, but
And they're just moving them from
I was
line to
being
line.
OCD and wanted to make sure
Kate
that
was being OCD, yes.
wanted not giving her any excuses to find
And
faults.
I understand these grants, you just didn't have them until later, so I understand that. Or did you?
Grants we usually have on every quarter because we never know if we're going to get them or not. And until we're for sure we're going to get them, we're not going to budget for them. So you'll see grants on every budget adjustment, which is a good thing. Did I answer all your questions? Okay.
Thank you, Leslie.
I move that we go into public hearing.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Fackrell and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're now in public hearing. Any of the public would like to come forward and share any thoughts? Okay, seeing none, I'll look for motion.
Move to go out of public hearing.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Fackrell and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Chair, I move we approve County Resolution CR 25-60, fourth quarter amendments to the county's 25 fiscal year budget.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Newton, second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie.
Um,
Now it starts over again.
Okay, on F6. So this is your meeting schedule, tentative, if approved. It's matches what we did this last year with the not having a meeting the first meeting week in November because of elections and moving that back 1 week to October 27th. Just to recap, the reason we don't move it forward a week is because that's USAC. So.
Looks good.
Okay. Still would not be sad if we canceled the August 4th meeting, since 90% of us are at the fair. But here's your tentative commission schedule.
Not be sad about it.
If we did, I would say that we put it to next week.
See what's
Maybe
on the
move
agenda when we get close and we can change it then. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve CR 25-62 Morgan County 2026 Commission Meeting Calendar.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Okay, the next one, this is the Planning Commission calendar that was approved Thursday by the Planning Commission.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve CR 25-63, the Morgan County 2026 Planning Commission Meeting Calendar.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
And then this one did not make it into the packet. That's her fancy colored one because she was unsure what you guys would decide on for the October meeting. Hold on. But this is our payroll calendar, commission meeting calendar, and holiday schedule, which does match. I did get with the city this year to make sure that our close dates match their close dates, and they do.
That's good.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve CR 25-64 Morgan County 2026 holidays and payroll calendar.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Nickerson and a second by Commissioner Blocker. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we have F9. I need a motion to postpone as per Garrett.
Mr. Chair, I move that we postpone F9. Do we have a date?
8?
F9 or F8?
Well, F8.
F9.
Oh, F9, sorry.
F8
You're right.
is postponed
Yeah.
already.
I would just postpone to the next meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, to the,
Sounds great.
January 6th
To the
is what I
January 6th
understood.
meeting.
Yeah. That was just in his email.
Yes, I just want to make a comment that this is another reason why it's important that contracts not go directly to a commissioner, because the reason we didn't have it is it was going to Robert McConnell. So luckily I got into Jared's email for something else and was able to get a bunch of other notifications forwarded over to us. But that's why it's important that these I at least come to the attorney or myself, as I can't help it if you guys don't get away with me.
Okay, well, we'll
I'll
read
need the-
him the right.
That
for that.
calendar, the holiday and payroll.
He made a motion. You need a second?
Yeah, I do.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Nickerson to postpone F9 and a second by Commissioner Newton. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, what did you
Commissioner
have,
Blocker,
Raylene?
something?
Oh, she just need me to send that document
Okay.
Sorry, I thought you
for
guys
the
were
payroll
done.
calendar.
You're fine.
Did we already postpone? I think we did F8, right? Or did we have a motion on that?
Or did we
I
need
don't
it?
think we did have a motion. on
Okay,
that.
we better do that.
I think it was at the request of the applicant.
Do we
That's
need to
correct.
then do a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it would just be to an indefinite date. They'll have to renotice because I think they're coming back with a new plan.
So, Mr. Chair, I move that we postpone F8, Thurston rezone indefinitely.
Or to a date not certain.
To a
Like I
date
said,
I
what I
want to
said.
say indefinitely.
I'll second it.
Definitely.
The best I can.
For eternity, go ahead.
That's what the neighbors would like.
I was gonna say indefinitely would make it.
Okay, so I have a motion by Commissioner Nickerson, and who did I have a second? Blocker. Commissioner Blocker for a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Just to clarify for our meeting clerk, the word indefinite is struck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure of
Tried
that.
to sneak it in there.
Okay, so F10, this is so we have hired or the state has hired a fire warden. Their first day was last Monday. And this is the Appendix A to the fire warden agreement that speaks to salary, and I included that email, I thought, conversation in there. No, just kidding, I did not. So this is obviously much less than we were paying our current because he's not as tenured.
This is good news.
So, in something within this, we were talking about a vehicle we have to get for him. What happened to the old vehicle?
It's not part of this agreement. It's a discussion that the state and I are gonna have next, I think the 10th of January. The fire warden is assigned one of our brush trucks, which is a diesel. This gentleman lives like an hour away, and that doesn't make that very conducive to drive a brush truck, diesel brush truck, that many miles. So we're gonna discuss it, but I'm probably gonna push back a lot. If they want a temporary one that's not in the fire season, we have our floating fleet, but I'm about to go into, legislative session, and I'd really like to keep that here. So that is not part of the agreement. We're not agreeing to anything to do with the fleet vehicle in this document. That conversation is happening after the first of the year.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Appendix A to the County Fire Warden's Agreement setting salary and benefits.
Second.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
You got it. I don't need it.
I have a motion by Commissioner Newton, a second by Commissioner Nickerson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
I do have two quick updates, if I can sneak those in. So the first one is the WUI. I don't, you guys read that email. It's been on the agenda like 3 times, and the state keeps taking it back to change language. The last email, just to clarify with them, hey, we haven't signed a WUI agreement for the end of, for the next year. They are expecting that to come sometime January of next year. That is why we have not passed one by the end of this year, because they have not approved their own language. Secondly, I did bring forth the county's application to rezone the rifle range. We had our planning commission meeting last Thursday. We did request as the applicant to table that conversation because we got a lot of really good questions and feedback that we're definitely going to need to flush out. So we requested to postpone that item to the first meeting in February with an additional public hearing.
And Kate, you did great
in
that meeting.
In the interim, I have 2 pages of notes from our public that are awesome, and I need to flush out and ask questions or get answers to those questions. Commissioner Nickerson recommended that we have a sit-down conversation with the commission and Randy Watt, one of your planning commissioners who has a lot of experience in rifle range remediation and EPA, which I think is an awesome idea. Also, something that came up as a suggestion in the public hearing was being that we have a community board for the airport and for parks and trails. a board for the rifle range itself and its future and that plan as well before anything's decided. I'd love a community board for that as well. So something for the commission to consider. But working on deep diving on some EPA records. Regardless, we're already working with the EPA because since I've only been here since January of last year, I don't know the last time that property was remediated and or groundwater testing to make sure that we're keeping the community safe. So whether we keep the rifle range where it is or we rezone it with the intent of moving it at some point, we're definitely going to need to do some EPA testing up there just to make sure we're keeping the public safe. So that is in the works as well. So expect that's my recap of that meeting. I will send you my recap notes as well. I had an amazing email from one of the gentlemen that was there. It was very detailed of, hey, can I get clarification on these questions, which is the bulk of what I had in there. So I'll probably just CC you on that response. But I have a lot of research to do. So very, very big turnout for that. A lot of people that are very passionate about your rifle.
And Mike and I got sent the history of the rifle range.
Oh, I would love.
I'll pass that along.
I'll forward that over to everybody.
I was trying to track it down.
And I do need a closed session for land acquisition and disposition. Or I think is what it's called. Both, isn't it? We have to say it's both.
Okay.
Either or, yeah.
Commissioner Blocker?
I won't bore you with the many meetings there were this last 2 weeks, but just want to say, coming to the end of my first year of service, that it's been an honor serving with you guys, getting to know you and everyone in the county building. I think you're all amazing, and you really serve with all your heart and really care about this community and your family, men and women, and you're putting it all out there. So thank you for enriching my life this year, and I look forward to the next 3 years. I know.
Okay, Commissioner Newt?
A couple of updates from Wasatch Integrated Waste, which is our solid waste, trash, and recycling provider. They did apply for and have been awarded a federal grant. It's called the Swiffer Grant, which is a solid waste infrastructure for recycling grant. They plan to use that to expand the compost facility. They will expand curbside organics collection and also launch a contamination detection pilot program for contamination from the landfill itself. So it's a fairly large grant, I believe several $1 million, so it's a big deal for the district. They're excited about that.
You said part of that was the curbside, like I'm assuming grass clippings. What did you call it?
They call it organics.
Organics.
Now, Morgan County and Morgan City don't currently participate in organics collection. It's something we could consider. My argument to them has always been that my grass goes over the fence into the cow, and I don't need a can for that. There are areas, however, within Morgan County and Morgan City that probably could use that type of collection. I will put a plug in that if you would like to do that, you can bring it here to the transfer station in Morgan City. They're next to the river, and they will take your organics.
Yeah.
And lots of people do.
So the grass clippings
Yes,
are free.
it's free for grass clippings.
And branches.
And branches.
Branches are not free.
Well, small stuff.
When did they
Yeah.
do
Little
that? When did they
Oh,
change
I
that?
have paid a lot for branches.
Small organics are free. The problem we had with branches is that
We show
because
up
everything's transferred, one guy'd fill up the entire bin, and it costs us a couple $100 every time we transfer one of those bins down. And so we used to burn it over there. We stopped doing that several years ago, but yeah, grass clippings, weeds, leaves, that sort of thing, they'll take for free here. So if you have those, and then those go down onto a compost pad down in Layton. That pad is an aeration pad, so it shoots air up into the compost, so they don't have to turn it. They actually just shoot air into it and then apply water, and then it creates compost, and then they resell that compost in there. So,
I was gonna say, there's also a farmer in the area, not me, that will take grass clippings if anybody wants to bring them up. Forward.
In Porterville?
In Porterville.
so there's probably a
So
few
maybe-
that'll do that if you,
Yeah, I
if you
mean,
reach
maybe
out
to
to them.
Croydon
They can
too.
go to the transfer station and scoop. There's so
Well,
much there of a
I
summer.
was gonna say, they can't, if it doesn't get there on the day they cut it, then you get mold, and then there's a problem.
Yeah, you
And
gotta
so
do it.
You've gotta do it that first day, because that
Immediately.
farmer will go and he'll actually spread it out like hay to try to, or else he'll take it directly to the cows that need it. So,
Don't dump it over your neighbor's fence to the horses.
Yeah, don't put it in the horses.
Don't
You
do it
put it
to
in
horses.
cows, not horses.
cows
Sheep.
are fine, sheep are fine, if they'll eat.
Just because.
Okay, Blaine,
Sorry, the other thing I was just gonna inform you is that, I will be serving as the chair of Wasatch Integrated Waste for 2026.
Congrats.
So that's good, and to my knowledge, that's the first time since the district was created in 1980 something that Morgan County has had a representative as the chair. Typically, it's Davis County because all of the entities are in Davis County. So I'm excited
Awesome.
about that. It'll be good.
Good.
So that's it.
Chair, can I make one more comment? I did want to make you aware of this from one of my policy steering committees. Jill Coford is running a bill that will make general plans a final binding document. UAC does not support this.
That's
I
a
mean, that would
horrible
make it
plan.
difficult to negotiate our development agreement. So UAC's against that, but
Do you have the
she's
number?
been pushing, no, it doesn't have a number yet, but
It doesn't have a pre-file.
it's on the
Carrie
on the
needs
radar.
to- Is Carrie on that
Yeah, let's
radar?
make sure he's.
I do not know.
Sure
Can
he
you
is.
email him?
We need to have a meeting with Kerry.
Yeah, he's on your first
one.
agenda in January.
Thanks for watching out for that, though, Raylene. I'm glad you noticed it.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
That's a real bad one. Not that we think that the general plan shouldn't inform what we do, but if it becomes the code, there's no point in having a code. That's a problem.
Well, there's always room to adjust.
Yeah, things change.
Some-
Absolutely.
I've seen that it lasts 10 to 20 years.
Yeah.
Who was pushing that?
Jill Coford?
From Ogden.
Oh.
Ogden? Is that where she's from?
Yeah, she's down on the.
Yeah, I've seen
Ogden
that
area.
on the bill there and signs on the hill going up into Ogden. Have you already said what you were gonna?
No.
It's your turn. Your turn.
Okay, if you want me to not say anything,
Well,
I
you
won't.
just kept, no, you just.
I just
you
had
said
asked,
several
I
things
had
in the
questions for the
meantime,
person
so-
that's giving the report.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm still curious whether or not we got the TRT report into the state auditor yet.
Leslie? Kate? Anybody?
Because we're not getting any money.
Yes, we are.
If we are, they've threatened us without.
I'm
pulling
aware.
it. Okay.
I've been
I
talking
just
to
need
the
to
state
know,
auditor.
is it done before they start harping on me again?
Okay,
And me.
we have turned it in. However, comma. I hate that this is on YouTube. There is a person that works in that department that has been given free range, that has taken basic reports and made them absolutely ridiculously hard to turn in. We have turned in the documentation that is required to us by the state. However, their new person, who's not new, this person that's been given free range, now requires that we use their format, which includes, we have to, for this TRT report, list every dollar that we have spent in remediation on trash, solid waste,
Public safety.
porta potties, public safety, emergency evac, on tourists, and we have to split that out between tourism, locals, and out-of-state tourists. Thank you, Jesus. So it got kicked back. And we have till the end of the year to turn that in.
We can guesstimate percentages, but.
I'd be
I don't know how we
lying.
would ever know.
I would be lying. I don't know how many people use the porta potty at Taggart's that are from out of state.
Yeah, we don't know that.
So if you could pass that on to the state auditor, Just like all our other reports, where they have taken a basic report that is honestly part of our financial statement anyway, if they want the data, and stop adding 17 pages to it of information that doesn't matter.
So how did the other counties do it? Because we're the only ones that have not.
We did turn it in, but they want more data. Just like we turned in, what's
So
the
I
other?
wonder how the other counties.
Are they just
Maybe they
guesstimating?
just guess.
Maybe they did.
Oh,
I don't
we've
know.
been picked on plenty. We just got an email, Jeremy got an email, 2 weeks ago, that they wanted all of our PIDs attached to our financial statement, and we're out of compliance because none of our PID financial documents were attached to our financial statement since 2021. There is nothing in the state statute that requires us to attach a PID, which it has to file with the state on its own document. There's nothing saying we have to attach that to our financial statement. It's not our obligation. So they being the attorney's office, have drafted a lovely 12-page document that pretty much says,
I was just curious because
So-
I've been getting calls for it, so I was just curious what was happening.
Okay.
I mean,
that's-
last year I know they did that and hounded me on it too, and we just lumped it all together. Not all
I
together.
turned in
we did it
exactly
yeah,
what I
mean,
turned
yeah,
in last
you
year,
and-
but now
we worked on it.
there's 5 more pages.
Can we have a conversation?
The
by
bureaucracy.
friends?
Because there's a certain
Anyway.
CPA PhD that has decided that they also need all this other data.
All right. The other thing I had was this came from the State Tourism Board last week, or last Friday. Basically, they says that surprisingly that the Airbnbs, VRBOs, and those kind of things, supposedly, according to their data, is actually less now than hotels. So hotels are starting to increase and get more people in them than the VRBOs, as far as they know, because I don't think we know where all of our Airbnbs are in this county.
Because we're not allowed to look it up by state statute.
And the other thing within that, they says the number one request, if anybody ever comes to the state, to any location, is they want to have fast internet. And that is a problem in our county. And right now, we don't know what's going on. It's all fed up. It's at the feds. So we don't have anything on that, and that is a detriment. Of course, our one hotel does have fast internet, so that helps. And then, of course, their emphasis this year is still on astrotourism and agritourism. So those are the main things I took away from that one. And I just want to report, since nobody else has, it was a great hometown Christmas. I don't know who was there. I know Raylene was there. I was there. A lot of people, yeah, I saw you guys there. It was a great one. There was not as many people there, which is surprising.
Doesn't feel like Christmas.
Yeah, that's it. It didn't feel like Christmas.
So we need to buy some
And
snowballs.
I mean, the sheriff was there with his Grinch, and that was great too. And
Thank you for arresting the Grinch, Corey. That was last
I
year.
thought you had it this year. I asked if there was one this year, and they said it was down at the other end. Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, it was. I think it was a good event. It's just not enough people were there this year. Of course, I didn't stay till the end either, so it was cold.
There were several other events going on that day. There was a big wrestling event down in Fillmore, and there was some other high school sports stuff going on, so that took people away, unfortunately.
Just a reminder that your parcel fabric, where we're combining all the maps into one, goes live 1 January. We have discussed extra layers to that, including secondary water and broadband.
Okay.
FYI.
Okay, so I need to get with you.
Need to get with Charles.
Okay. All right, that's all I had.
Keep going.
Speaking of, sorry, not to interrupt this too much, Raylene, do you have much contact with Mountain Green Elementary by chance?
No, I don't have any kids in there anymore. Do you need me to do something?
No, I just was thinking one of the things that they do at the hometown Christmas to try to get people there is have the kids perform.
Oh, yeah.
And so Morgan Elementary's been doing that for a number of years. They have the 4th graders come over and sing a few songs, or maybe it's 3rd graders. I don't remember. I should know this because my wife's a music teacher, but I don't. Anyway, that may be something that we could start trying to get,
Or they could do
Mountain
like a
Green
little song
Elementary
from
or-
the play that they're doing.
yeah. I mean, it they don't have to do anything special for it. Just come and perform. It gets parents and families to come and
Sure.
spend some time.
It's a good idea.
If you happen to bump into them,
Yeah.
maybe. It's fourth grade. My wife just informed me.
Does she watch all these?
She's watching the
I was gonna say, yeah.
You haven't got on the text list yet?
I'm not on the text. Kate, do you want us to register ourselves for the BOE classes?
That's on your, it's part of the January, commission agenda.
But do you want us to register?
You're totally
ourselves,
welcome
or
to.
There's no cost or anything, right? It's
Right,
just
and I don't know your guys' schedule, but they're all over the state.
Yeah.
So,
I love that they're requiring us to take 2 full days in the middle of a week of training.
You're like, I don't have a full-time
So,
job.
Janelle's
this is
like,
not our
"Welcome to
full-time
my
job.
life."
Yeah, but
want
Janelle
me-
gets paid to be there. I don't. We get to go take time off our normal jobs to do this.
So I can call and ask Tammy again about having them nightly in the night, because that's what she said in the thing.
If they're willing to do a nighttime, I would rather do that. You know, even if it took 4 nights of 4
condense
hours
it.
apiece instead of.
A month at first and third.
I mean, I don't mind.
Do it all.
We all take off work to do county stuff from time to time, but I would rather that time be spent doing something in the county, not a training. If
It's
I can
for
help
the
it.
county.
It's for the county, but you know, I take off time for the county fair. We take off time for other events and other things. We take off time to do the county budget. It's a lot.
Yep.
Okay, I will call and ask her.
You up.
So a couple of things, just on the rifle range, it was a very good meeting. I think we've all gotten phone calls and texts and emails about that. With the remediation, I have been in contact with Ogden Gun Club. There are companies that will come and basically look at how much lead is on the surface, and they will come and basically windrow the material, and then they'll do either a dry or a wet sift to remove all that lead and contaminant. It's no cost. They just figure out what it's worth, and then we split the lead. When they sell the lead, we get a portion of it. So the president of the gun club was out of town last week, so I've reached out to him, left a message. He's going to call me back this week.
But you say they do that about every 5.
Ogden Gun Club does it every 6 to 7 years, and I said I think it's been about forever on us. So I think it would just be good to have them come out.
It might be worth $1 million of
It
lead.
could be $1 million in lead. So
Lead plus other.
Maybe it'll pay for that
So, as-
thrower that you guys bought.
So as I get that information, I'll bring that back. As far as when they'll be around to be able to look at the gun club, or the range, I should say. Let's see, weed board, we had our first meeting this last week, and unfortunately Smokey has to step down basically after his first meeting with family problems, so we'll be looking for a new, I guess we'll get that posted and get a new weed board member. They did have a couple of thoughts that came from the board that I said I would bring here, and that is just kind of one of the issues that they see is as development starts, they clear the ground and then it just explodes with weeds. And the request would be, how would we go forward, whether that be in our code or what we can do to put that on the developer, that they need to maintain the weeds as they develop their property, because that's one of the big issues they see. Another one was that they're looking into is how the contact is made with Union Pacific and UDOT, which is through our weed supervisor, which is Joel. They're going to get us the contact information for UDOT and the railroad as far as taking care of their weeds, paying for the spray or how would they do that. So we want to hit that early this year and try to get with Union Pacific and UDOT to try to maintain that. The other thing was, as far as the county goes, is maintaining our right of ways, that we are spraying ours, and so that people aren't looking and say, well, the county doesn't take care of theirs. So those are the big things that kind of came forward. Joel talked about the spray equipment that we have. And it's like, is it up to, I guess you have to be certified to spray, make sure that we're in compliance, that everything is on the up and up, notification to property owners so that their horses or cows aren't near where we're spraying, to kind of let them know that we will be out and about so that we're not liable for dead livestock and animals. So we do have an active board. It is moving along. I think they're kind of excited to see something happen within the county and working with landowners. One of their ideas to get the notice out to the majority of the people that use the ditch companies and water companies is to use those ditch and water companies to get this information, to get this ordinance sent out to all of those people so they understand what is expected of our landowners. And the opportunity to be reimbursed for a certain amount of spray or chemical to help treat their areas, that can be done through the conservation district. And that is, they have a $10,000 grant from the state, and applications are available for our landowners they will reimburse up to $200 worth of chemical. So they can get that through the conservation district.
And that also brings up a good point, and Commissioner Blocker did this a couple of weeks ago, but just on all boards, if you have someone that needs to resign or step down, we just needed, the clerk auditor's office has to have some type of documentation, whether that's an email, whether it's a text message, whether it's in writing. We just need something in writing that's from that person requesting to be removed from the board so that we have that documentation as they were appointed by quorum resolution.
So, and I forwarded that on to the weed board. I was not aware of that at the time.
Thank you.
I forwarded that on, so we'll get that from Smokey and get that taken care of.
We'll
That's all
take
I have.
a farmer post-it note.
It just might be on a
We'll take
2x4
it.
or something.
There you go.
Okay, just want to let the those out there in the county know that Dave Rich and Boyd Kerrigan have retired. They had a retirement party last week. I think it was well attended. I had to leave early, but appreciate their service. I know all of us appreciate their service, and Dave, our fire marshal, as well. They've all done a great job, so appreciate them. Just FYI, Logan Wild was appointed to the Weaver Basin as our representative there.
A
So
copy of that.
he didn't send me one.
Okay.
Scott didn't.
I'll get with
so.
one with the state. So that's the Weaver Basin Water Board that's super long.
Mhm.
Weaver Basin Water Conservancy District.
I just have two concerns that I'd like to get on something that we can discuss sooner than later, and that's the STRs, because I think they could get really out of control, where we're having people advertise them as their way of selling properties now.
Oh, cute.
That's, I don't think what we want. So trying to build affordable housing, and we're advertising our affordable housing as STRs, so. Secondly, I had a discussion today with someone about the airport. I don't know how we handle this, Garrett, but we can't have people selling and reselling hangars before we even know what's going on. And
if they do, we can terminate the lease.
Yeah, and we've got one of those right now that has sold it, and the new person has got it up for sale already, and it hasn't even transferred from the first person. And so I don't know how we deal with that, but I think we need to let them know that can't happen.
I can send them a letter saying that we're terminating the lease unless they cure within 30 days or something.
And I guess they return the money to the person that sold it. They sold it to.
Yeah, and if they want to come and get prior written consent, which is what's required under Section 4 of the lease, I can't quote it, but I know exactly where it is in every lease, and it requires prior written consent of the commission.
Okay, and the other concern I have is that it's not a commodity. It's something that's extremely rare, and it's becoming very valuable. And I think we need to look at the rules and regulations again of what that was originally meant for. People are starting to ask insane amounts of money for those hangars, and we're leasing them property for nothing. And so if that's what, I think it needs to come back to, that was meant for our community. And we're having out-of-town people come in, buy them, and flip them, and flip them, and flip them. And it's gonna get it to a point where people in our community can't even afford to have a hangar down there, so.
And in theory, the assessment should go up if they keep selling them for more and more money, right? I mean, that, and in theory, that would raise the assessment on everybody if they keep doing that. So it behooves everyone that has a hangar there to ensure that that's not occurring.
And that's
on a
what
regular
that's what I
basis, where
told
it's
this
just more and
person
more.
today. I said, this is gonna come back to bite everybody at that airport if you guys don't start standing up and saying no.
Has this person been in contact with the airport board? Probably reach out.
So it goes back to my question 5 years ago. Why are we leasing it for such a little amount?
Well, it
then
was
that
to
was-
help our community.
I know.
But
It is part of our fee study.
anyway. Okay,
Could you let me know?
I will let
a
you know
hangar
who.
number or someone so that I can get that letter drafted. Thank you.
I will. And
Mr. Chair, when you're done, may I?
I think hopefully everybody got to listen to the rifle range thing because it was a good discussion. I wish I tried to nip it in the bud as much as I could with anybody that contacted me. That yes, we have had people approach us, but we've always said we will not sell that without having something given to us by them. They have to find the property. We aren't going to do it. So I don't know how this room full of people got the impression that we were just doing this to sell the property and get her going. So, but it spiraled out of control fast. I didn't even think that would be an issue, to tell you the truth.
But they came up with a lot of good ideas.
It did. And situations we should be looking at as a county with the safety and stuff. Okay, Blaine?
Carrie's here.
Hey, look who's here.
Kara's here.
Just emailed you.
The only thing is Vaughn and I attended a meeting today with Senator Curtis. Do you want to go and explain what you asked, or because you did a good job?
Senator
of it?
Cruz?
Curtis. Curtis.
Oh, Curtis.
Senator Cruz.
So there's a, what do you call it, a task force, kind of a regional task force, and I didn't know who was all on there, and then I noticed Blaine was there. So we were invited to be part of this task force, to kind of take concerns from our area to the senator, hear what's going on there at DC, to kind of share here. One of the things that I brought up was the interchange, and I mentioned, we had a perfect example of why that needs to stay open when they drilled a hole through the gas line. I said, if UDOT doesn't pay attention to that, I don't know what else to do. But I did bring that up, that we had a problem. They had to shut down that road, and that's exactly what's going to happen. That's what we're going to get, and that's why that needs to stay open at all costs, just to alleviate any sort of dangers or problems, concerns that might arise. And so I left all those notes.
The forest.
That might have been a blessing.
Oh, yeah, sorry. And I mean, as bad as the inconvenience and what it was, but I think that may really drive the point home. Another one was they're running a bill, and I left my notes sitting on my front seat of my truck, but there's a bill that he's running, and it's bipartisan, about managing our forests because of the major fires that have been happening, to alleviate a lot of the restrictions as far as gathering firewood, allowing people to go in there and clear out all that deadfall, so that the fires, when they do happen, isn't as great. And so I kind of pushed out that they're so restrictive on how we get in there to get. I mean, in Morgan County, we burn a lot of firewood. I know I do. I've gathered firewood for years, and it's so restrictive. And I don't want people driving their trucks and four-wheelers all over the mountainside, but it's seeing the fires and seeing the issues that they've caused. They are running a bill, supported on both sides, to allow better access into our forest to help alleviate that deadfall and that fire danger. And so as things come up, whether here at the commission or residences, they can reach out. Both Blaine and I are on that task force that we can take to the senator. We talked about the Olympics coming and just the need for infrastructure to get people up and down that mountain and get them, that interchange is crucial. The roads in and out of there, they're old, and there's a study, I know Mike and I were talking about it, about just the geography of that mountain. And when you drive up in there and you can see where that road going into Snow Basin has moved, it has shifted and is breaking, and the infrastructure is old and needs help, and the need of federal help to get those things up to speed so that we have a safe community over there and good access for they're saying 40,000 people a day up there during the Olympics. It'll be crazy if we do nothing. So, did I miss anything, Blaine? I'm sure
that was it. I think
I got a whole page of notes. And
I know you were taking notes and everything else, and I thought, well,
I think
he's
that
taking them
was
all.
kind of the
He'll
highlights.
mention it.
Raylene, did you have something?
I'm on that task force too,
Oh,
but
good.
I couldn't log on today. But there's another meeting tomorrow, 2:15. If anyone's interested, I can forward them the email. Just curious.
For the same one?
It's the same one, but it's with a different county, but he said I could log in.
Oh, okay.
Did you bring up the Strawberry Road at all?
We just talked about the roads and all the access up, and I didn't bring it up specifically, no.
Okay.
But just all the infrastructure. So if you wanted to bring that up tomorrow,
Okay.
that'd be good.
Carrie, do you have anything for us before we go into closed session?
Do we want him to?
We do, actually. Could you come up? Commissioner Blocker brought up a potential piece of legislation that we would like you to have on your radar, Commissioner Blocker.
Oh, yes, I already emailed you. Did you get it?
He probably.
It was like literally 5 minutes
On
ago.
his drive up here, she just barely sent it to you. Okay,
It's just Jill Coford. She is introducing a bill to make general plans a final binding document. Not a good idea. UAC is opposed to it. Obviously, we're opposed to it. So just on your radar. Doesn't have a number.
Doesn't have a number yet.
We just talked about it in a policy meeting, so.
Trying to figure out where that's coming from, but
Right.
yeah,
Cui bono, who benefits?
Where do half those bills come
So
from?
is there
exactly.
anything on the Summit discussion, Summit County?
Yeah, I mean,
So I gave them the update that Jamie reached back out
I
and
didn't
said,
know if he had any more
Oh,
since he went
no.
to interim.
yeah,
Just
no,
recently,
there's
or
a
special
lot,
session.
a lot of questions about that, and frankly, I need some direction from the commission as to where to go with that, because it's getting, the drafter is on my case
Yes.
every day now, so it's basically just what we want, commission wants to do. Where do you want to go?
So we've been given a pre-file priority bill number. I guess kind of where we're stuck now is, what do we want that draft language to be? Do we want it to be that another county can't own land in another county? Do we want it to be that a county can't own land in another county tax exempt? Or do we, there's so many ways we can word it. Is there a specific?
What's the goal?
I
Yeah,
personally
and-
think that counties should not own land in another county. I don't see a purpose for that. I can understand a special district needing property in another county, but to me, it seems like the only reason you would buy land as a county or a public entity in another jurisdiction is because you want a piece of that jurisdiction, probably because it's cheaper, right? But then you bring in all these concerns of, well, who's going to police it? Who's going to, are you going to receive the taxes off it? Is it really public property if it's owned in another county, right? I don't know. I would rather see it not just, you can't own property in another county, period.
And I would view that specific language as almost misappropriation of taxpayer dollars. Your taxpayers can't benefit from land that you don't have jurisdiction over.
Yeah, you're right.
So I can see a case law precedence there, but when we discussed this with oh my goodness, the gentleman that gave us the priority bill file.
Representative Strong.
Representative Strong, we had, my brain just stopped where I was going with that. We had pointed out, that we didn't want to ruffle the feathers of the Utah League of Cities and Towns, because we 1000% understand towns buying land, butting up against other towns within, like municipalities spreading counties.
But a municipality
but-
can cross county lines.
So that's what we're saying, before we actually get the final language and push it out for the public, we need to have a conversation with the executive director of Utah League of Cities and Towns, because they have ungodly amounts of pull at the legislature, and just want them to understand.
Talking Canada.
Yeah, this is where we're coming from. We're in no way, shape, or form trying to change anything that you fought for. This is literally county to county. Municipality is exempt from what we're trying to do, so.
So has UAC involved with this at all?
No, we have not got UAC involved.
Is UAC involved with this bill?
No.
Maybe we need to have them
We
be.
didn't think that was a good idea.
Why?
Summit pays more dues than we do.
They'll get influenced by the big counties.
Yeah, but
Those
we
that
have
pay
more
the
of us
bills.
rural counties than they do some
They may have more individuals, but
We also have the Speaker of the House,
We do.
and we also have the Senate President. We also have the best lobbyists in the state.
Thanks for that.
None of that has anything to do with UAC. So that is,
It's just,
we'll obviously get them involved before
it's
we
just a matter
file.
of timing and what kind of, strategy we want to play here, so. They can come, we can involve them from the beginning if you'd like, or the legislation can bring them to the table. So it's just a matter of, it's a strategic move.
Well, I like Mike's suggestion.
Which is?
Can.
Oh,
you
you just can't.
Yeah, you just
Especially
can't.
with a federal grant.
Yeah,
Like,
come on.
okay.
I mean, that's my opinion.
Did you get my
I'm
text?
very possessive of our county, so.
Samesies, as is our county sheriff.
That's right.
Okay.
So we've got to have, that is the direction I would recommend. Mike's recommended it. I hope the other three are on board, but they're busy doing something else.
I know Vaughn is. He was in that call. So yeah, I'm happy to give you all my time. So,
I don't need it all, I just need.
yeah, I hear you. Okay, thanks, Carrie. Oh, Carrie, January 6th is our first January commission meeting. Can we get you on there?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay. Somebody want to make a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move that we go into closed session for the purpose of discussing the purchase or disposition of real property.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Newton and a second by Commissioner Fackrell. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?